Sir, please. You cannot judge a dino by his scales.
What are scales?
And with that, welcome everyone to this episode of the Cheap Seat Critics Podcast, where this week we are covering Theodore Rex. With me today, we have.
Hello, everybody. I'm one of your hosts, a geeky writer.
I'm Crimson Maroon.
And I'm Sprinks. And hey, if you're listening from New Eden, you can find. Ooh, well, first off, New Eden, best of luck out there. But hey, if you're listening from there, you can find us over on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Bluesky, LetterBoxd, where we have our averaged out numbers and graphs of whatever it is we have done and covered. We have visual side of things over on YouTube and Rumble. Maybe not your cup of tea, totally cool. We have tons of audio platforms where you can be listened to from. And we also have a TikTok account as well.
Awesome. As mentioned, the 1995 classic, Theodore Rex. Get some Whoopi Goldberg action in here. I think we will start with our histories, starting with Sprinks.
Well, there you go again, adding these adverbs to sentences like classic. So, just want to highlight that. History, boy, I maybe in the past, looking through Whoopi Goldberg's filmography, come across this of just like reading it or seeing it in a list. But this is my first time watching it for the podcast. And I didn't know anything about this movie other than Crimson chose it, and it was reminiscent in looking like the Jim Henson Dinosaurs TV show.
All right, I will go next with my history. This is the first time I saw it for the podcast. Might be the first time I've done that with a personal pick. I usually pick something I've seen before. I saw the VHS of this at the place I work, and I thought, huh, this looks interesting. I'll put this on my watch list. A few months go by, I never watch it, and then the podcast opportunity showed up. I'm like, yeah, this is a good time to do it. So that's that. And the cover is just Whoopi Goldberg with Theodore. Seemed interesting. And writer.
Well, my connections to this one are mostly Star Trek related because Whoopi Goldberg is famously in one of the good Star Trek shows, and that was kind of probably how I heard about this movie. I haven't seen it before. Didn't know what I was in for. I was very like yeah, well, that's getting into the review, but I don't really have a history beyond that. I've heard of it before, and I knew Whoopi Goldberg was in it.
Any other history that has just cropped up before we jump into facts?
Not in the vein of history, no.
Not for history.
All right. And then we'll jump into some facts I found, starting with the budget. It had a budget approximately of $33.5 million and a box office, or global box office, of $9.3 million estimate.
Not surprised.
Yeah,
A big
that sounds about
contributor
right.
to that is that it did not get a theatrical release, which we'll get into the more interesting facts. This film was supposed to be theatrically released, but due to behind the scenes drama and poor like early screenings, they decided to put it direct to VHS and not put it in theaters except for some select theaters overseas.
Interesting. Behind the scenes drama.
There's no domestic. Oh yeah.
This is now 2 back-to-back picks you've made that have not gotten theatrical releases.
I suppose so, yeah. But this one was intended, at least. The other one was not. All right. Yeah, I guess let's dive into the drama a little bit. So, Whoopi Goldberg and her lawyer, lawyer manager guy, to get her jobs and stuff as an actor.
Agent, yeah.
Agent. That's the job title. Her agent. had some issues with this because the studio approached her for the job, and she had it on the table, but she didn't flat out agree to it. But her agent agreed to it for her without her knowing, which
Oh
then
no.
caused conflicts with the other projects she had. Real botch job. And she wanted out, but the studio wouldn't let her because she agreed to it technically, because the agent. So Whoopi Goldberg said no. Then the studio sued her for breach of contract, and they went to court over it, and they ended with a settlement where she is in the movie, obviously. Her initial agreement of 5 million with a 5% royalty was then changed due to the lawsuit to just a flat 7 million, no royalty, which I guess
So
worked
she
out
probably
for her.
made more money. Yeah.
Yeah, because all that legal stuff was before the decision to make it direct to VHS. And throughout filming, she kept cussing out the director uh, openly in front of the crew and was not happy to make this movie. So lots of drama for this one.
Explains why she looks pissed in pretty much all her scenes.
My thoughts exactly after looking at it.
Yeah, I mean it plays into some of the buddy cop dynamic, but obviously that's not acting.
Yeah. Uh, Crew members left constantly between pre-production and principal photography, between the drama with Whoopi Goldberg and the stress of getting the film off the ground. Nearly half the crew was different from the first day of shooting.
Oof, that's try to rework on a group project like that.
Yeah. Jonathan R. Butel, the director of this film, this was the last thing he did as a director. He retired after this.
Went on a high note, I see. All right.
Do you have any
I
big
suppose
hitters
so.
before this?
I did not look into his filmography.
I will do that. Give me a sec.
Sure thing. Um, this fact, grain of salt on this one, because I don't know how accurate this one really is. The film's 33.5 million budget, notwithstanding the fact that it was originally intended for a theatrical release, makes Theodore Rex the second most expensive direct-to-video movie ever. It holds the record behind Jean-Claude Van Damme's first direct-to-video movie, Legionnaire, which had a $35 million budget.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I tried looking more into it, and I don't know where this fact really came from, but it is interesting.
Well, it came from you reading it somewhere.
It did. But I mean, like, I couldn't find anything to verify it.
All right. He doesn't have a very long filmography. He does have writer credits on like Winter Soldier and stuff like that. But as far as directorial stuff he's done, there's only two things that come up. That's not Theodore Rex. It's My Science Project from 1985 and The Last Starfighter from 1984.
He directed The Last
Uh,
Starfighter?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Of his projects, I think The Last Starfighter was the only one I've heard of.
Well, you said Winter Soldier. I should be more amazed that this guy's attached to the Winter Soldier in some way, but
as a writer.
that's still the same person.
Yeah, I know. According to the novelization, which means, yeah, there's a book for this, the movie was supposed to take place in 2009. I didn't really get those
Interesting.
vibes off the movie.
It's
But
definitely, I mean,
interesting.
the cloning was a big fad in the 1990s and leading into the early 2000s. They thought that was going to be a very big thing genetically to exploit. So I guess there's some of that, but not much.
And the last fact I will be going with is for Theodore's costume. Effect artist John Criswell built a latex walk-around suit, the head supported by an aluminum stem rising 4 feet overhead, containing 32 servo motors to articulate his face and head, enabling Teddy to display 47 points of movement on his face. The suit's movements were executed by a mime inside the suit, with small hidden bladders beneath the latex, programmed by computers, either running a hard wire or relaying on radio control. All controlled by a puppeteer at a console 50 to 100 yards away, operating all 32 motors. Quite technical. Holy cow.
I'm gonna guess this was also for all the other dinosaurs in the film.
Oh, I would imagine Theodore has more motors and stuff because they didn't. All the other dinosaurs didn't have to move that much.
Or
Like
show as much
those-
emotion.
the
But
like the grinning
Yeah.
one at the bar
Yep.
didn't really have any expression. So I would imagine he's the more complex one.
I mean, one of the things I guess that goes a little bit, I guess, into what I have to say about the film, but I do like the practical costume for him.
Yes,
doesn't-
not 90s CGI.
Yeah, it's not 90s CGI. Like he doesn't like. Obviously, it's a very cartoonish look, but it is a very, very well made practical costume.
And supposedly, some people involved, including Whoopi Goldberg, thought that the dinosaurs would be like revamped with CG in the final product. I don't know what they really thought by that, but whatever. Any other facts you guys might have?
Well, I guess this
Uh,
falls more into fact than history, which is it's surprising that luck striked with you, Crimson, that you hadn't seen this film beforehand. Because this movie to me just screams you.
I figured you'd say something along
I
those
feel like
lines.
no one else here on this podcast would have picked this movie other than you.
I 100% agree. I cannot see either of you picking this.
There was also a point in this movie where I went, man, there's only one thing that would solidify this as a Crimson pick, and it happened.
It happened, huh? Is that
Yes,
something
I was
you're going to hold on
amazed.
to?
I was amazed there was one thing added in this movie to make it more of a you pick.
Are you holding on to it, or are you going to say it now?
Do you want me to say it now? I can say it now.
Sure, it seems to be
Yeah,
relevant.
well, actually, let's have a little. Take a guess. What do you think it is?
What do I think that you
Yes,
think?
I'm
would be
watching this
amazing?
movie and I go, "Wow, this is a very Crimson pick." Of course, he picked something like this. The only thing to make this more solidified that it is his pick is if this was in the movie, and then bam, it was.
Oof. The only thing that comes to mind for me is something you wouldn't know. That's regarding an actor that's in this.
I can tell you, it's probably not that. Ryder, you have any guesses?
Cookies?
No, I genuinely don't.
Well, I guess a hint to give is the same thing occurred when Crimson picked the little vampire.
Interesting. There was no flying. Oh, I mean, I guess there's a flying dinosaur. No
No,
flying cows. It's too broad. I have no idea.
there's bagpipes.
Oh,
There are bagpipes in
I
this
would've
movie, and
guessed
I went,
that.
"Oh my god, it's a Crimson movie." Oh,
dinosaurs, bagpipes.
I was
Oh
shocked.
my goodness.
So it sounds like a win-win, you know? This classic that would finally put Jurassic Park in its place.
Oh, ooh, bite your tongue.
There you go. Yeah.
But I do know
I-
Crimson does like Dinosaurs, the TV show.
I was just about to tack on to that. I forgot to bring that up in my history. Because John Criswell, the creator of the dinosaur outfits, also worked on dinosaurs. Pretty apparent. They're very similar in their construction. And yeah, I watched Dinosaurs, not all of it, because I only had a few episodes on VHS, and I've seen a few episodes here and there, but I've not seen the entire series. And I own a part of one of the dinosaur suits from Dinosaurs. It's like a little square that they cut up and put out. But yeah, I guess that's the end of my history that I forgot about. And Ryder, do you know what dinosaurs is?
The show? No.
All right,
Do
noted.
you want to
I will
explain it to
probably
me real
forget
quick,
later.
or?
I mean, it's like the dinosaurs in this, but a
They
bit
look,
more characterized
yeah, they
than
look like the dinosaurs in this, but if it was like a '90s human sitcom, except it's just all
with
dinosaurs.
dinosaurs. Dinosaur puns. And
I
you
could
you might know the baby
sort
in
of,
that. Like,
Not the mama.
I could sort
yeah,
of see myself. That sounds interesting. Okay, I'll give it a look. See once the podcast is over.
it's pretty good.
Yeah, and then there's the Disney movie Dinosaur, which is a whole different thing.
Very different. Mm-mm.
Yeah, and then there's the dinosaur, right? Is that what it's
The
The
good dinosaur.
dinosaur.
the
There's
good
the good,
dinosaur?
yeah,
Yeah, there we go.
the good dinosaur.
And then there's dinosaurs with an exclamation point at the end, which is a claymation short.
Yeah,
Uh,
And then there's We're Back, a Dinosaur Story.
the next like dinosaur related project that I'm supposed to go through is the Jurassic Park Netflix like animated show. I
Ooh,
hear
have
it's
fun.
I was told it was good, so I'm gonna check it out.
origin of where the Barbasol can came from. That's all I know about the show. Alrighty, then we will jump into our coverage. We're going to do a 3-act structure for this. Act 1 consisting of the very beginning to right before Molly steps out on stage. And we will start this with Ryder.
All
Good question.
right.
We doing linear or popcorn within the act?
Popcorn within the act.
Gotcha.
All right. I am going to do I'm gonna start at the beginning, shockingly enough. Because we had a text crawl, and I've talked about text crawls on this podcast before. Generally, a text crawl is your chance as a writer or director or storyteller to just tell the audience flat out the basics that they need to know for the story going forward, so that way you can jump right into wherever you want to jump in. Um, Now, the classic example I always go to is the Star Wars one, because you get the basic world building of Star Wars, and you also get the situation of what's going on right before you kickstart on the action sequence. So you have all the context of what everything's going on, and so the Star Wars text crawl is integrally important to the story that comes after. I was looking at this text crawl, and it was funny. I thought it was a bit of a parody. It made me chuckle. But upon review, the text crawl is kind of pointless. There's nothing in this text crawl that you could not pick up easily from context within the story itself.
Well, you sussed it out a little bit, Ryder. Another fact that I came across. Well, there were a good amount for this. That was one of the last additions to the film. On the test screenings, they found that kids were a bit confused, so they added the text scroll for the kids to understand a bit more.
I see. I would still
So
lean
yeah,
on
it does make it redundant.
yeah.
So
I'm like I said, I would still lean that their text scroll probably should have been tweaked a little bit more, because I do think it's useful. It'd be useful to explain that, hey, dinosaurs and people are, coexisting. This is a world where that extinct creatures come to life. I actually think that is a good thing to include in a text crawl, so that way you're not surprising your audience. That gives a good foundation. But I don't think they should have given away the villain's plan. I think that was a bit too much.
well, they pretty much said the whole plot.
Yeah. I think that's for me where the line was crossed, was when they started explaining the rest of the plot. Because I do think the world building aspect is an important part of the text crawl, at least for this movie. But I felt the villain's plot being a little bit superfluous.
Well, because it name dropped the villain, the moment that Kane shows up, you're like, oh, he's the villain of the movie. Because his
Pretty
first
much.
scene isn't him being villainous. He's just like a fundraiser. He's just a guy. But the text scroll automatically spoils that he's the villain of the movie.
Yeah. Uh,
Any thoughts on that, Springs?
Absolutely. Destroy the whole text scroll. Delete it all. If you need it, restart from the beginning, and have anything mentioned to be prior to what's being shown in the movie.
I mean,
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I agree with that. I'm not
A
gonna say no to that.
scientist created cloning, which got integrated into society, where now dinosaurs and humans coexist.
I
Yeah,
being how
totally
every
fine.
tech scroll I've been, experienced is past events to get to the point of the beginning of where the film's going. All that I was reading, I was envisioning we are now past that point of the
The
occurrence
missile was
happening.
launched. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the aftermath of the Ice Age. Like now we're in the future of that. But the tech scroll
Yeah.
was all things that were going to occur, which is just a massive spoiler at the beginning of your movie.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Cheap Detective had a better tech scroll.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy. The last additional note I have for this is just to connect the Star Trek thing, or aside from Whoopi Goldberg, is the Eden missile. There is a plot point in, I think, The Wrath of Khan where they develop a an Eden torpedo essentially, and the whole point of it is it's supposed to bring life to a desolate planet. So I enjoyed that bit of I guess me connecting it to something I liked.
Yeah, because I don't know if they took that as a reference or not.
I am gonna go with probably not.
Probably not. All right, Sprinks.
Does anyone in this movie call Teddy Theodore?
I was thinking something similar to that. I think it's brought up like one time, Theodore, but otherwise it's Teddy or Theo.
Yeah, it's Theo, Teddy, Dinosaur, T Rex.
I think it's happened. I think it happened once.
Okay.
That's yeah.
What I'm getting at is another poorly decided decision at the beginning with all the beginning credits of the cast and all the producers and crew. After Whoopi Goldberg, it says Theodore Rex, but the font of that title card is exactly matching that of the cast. So it felt like that was the cast character's name, which felt Jim Henson to me, like the Muppets are your co-stars kind of thing. But being that there was no title card and it's all just credits, makes me believe that was the title card of the movie. And Whoopi Goldberg is the name, like the front liner of the film.
Is this an objective thing or like a personal preference thing?
I think it falls into objective. It's a decision on the editing to come across that way. I'm unsure if it's designed to be both. If it's like, oh, Theodore Rex is a part of the crew and the cast, so his name would be next in line after Whoopi Goldberg kind of thing, and then continuing because it does also show the credits of who's voicing Theodore Rex. I didn't write down the actor's name, but that comes later. So it's like they're in proof showing two separate people being the same character, which kind of breaks the Jim Henson thing of the Muppet I said earlier. Then, if it's kind of discrediting someone else being Theodore Rex, so it just was very messy.
Okay, I feel like I'd have to see it again because I typically don't read the credits,
No,
opening or closing. So
if they wanted it to be like that, I feel like they could have done the name how they have it, so it plays into the joke of like the cast, like he's a part of the cast, but then like either break it or have some kind of effect where the more poster look of the name with the blue and red comes across like the actual title card look. So to me, they either didn't have a title card or they didn't know they kind of messed up their joke.
I'm leaning there was not a title card. I don't remember one. So that's, I guess, where I'm at without having
Okay.
to look at it right now.
So if you're not remembering one, you believe that it just followed through with the cast of Theodore Rex being as the cast in the cast list.
If what you're saying is accurate and it's just the name and it's not tied to the voice actor, I guess so. Because I don't think the font stands
No,
out as
both.
its own thing.
Yeah, both are in the opening credits.
Like tied with each other, like on screen at the same time, or one
No,
following the other?
there's Whoopi Goldberg, and then Theodore Rex, and then some other members, and then it goes to and the like voice actor for Teddy, and then that name. But they're all within the same credits.
And then with that, I would be leaning. I guess they're treating him as a cast member, Theodore.
Okay.
Though I don't know why they would do that, because I don't think they are going like the Muppets approach that you were describing.
No, it was just confusing.
I would like to point out the voice actor is George Newbern.
Oh, thank you.
He's one of those guys
Making me trip
where
around.
you probably know his face, but you probably can't think of what he's from. Type deal. I don't know. He's in Father of the Bride and Adventures in Babysitting. Does some voice work for DC stuff. But I'm sure if you looked him up, you'd be like, yes, I know that guy.
I need to see his face now.
George Newbern. But on the topic of voice, it's probably going to be one of my biggest complaints in this, and I don't like Teddy's. I just refer to him as Teddy, so I'm not going to do Theodore the whole time. Teddy's voice irked me. It was annoying to me. I didn't like his his little additional noises he makes to emphasize his like goofy nature.
Oh, his doo-doo-doos?
I don't. Yeah, he was. That might just be me not liking that type of character where they're all uppity happy all the time. But I also don't feel like the voice really matched his body.
You might have the same. Ooh, damage ladder. Might have the same issue that I have with the voice.
All right, what's the
None
issue
of it
type
sounds like it's in world.
No, it all sounds ADR.
It's all ADR, like overlapped from the audience. It doesn't sound echoey or in the vast space of either a small room, large room, whatever, or in world of Teddy talking to anybody.
Yeah, I think I would put that under issue as well. Because I agree that they don't really modulate the voice to fit the room or scenario that the characters are in. It's just the same flat audio.
I'm tending to agree with you guys. I would have an issue with the audio as well. In terms of his voice, I didn't find it irritating at first. I was okay with it because he's in the comfort of his own house. My issue is that continued when he was not in his private space. The constant comments behind conversations that are happening at the forefront. I think it became an obtuse personality trait of his. That's a subjective thing for me. Separating objective from subjective. I do think the audio mixing is bad objectively, but I would say that I wasn't exactly endeared to the character because he started becoming grating really quickly.
I think comparatively to all the other voices in this whole movie, Teddy for me was okay. I couldn't understand how every off-screen voice, whether a phone call or the dispatcher or holograms or anything like, all had very try-hard cartoony voices.
Kind of feel like he was cartoony voice as well, though.
No, Teddy had some of that, but it just felt like the normal like humans or whoever they're talking to didn't sound like a person talking.
Oh, the humans.
Well, like
Yeah.
dispatch or phone calls or as I said, like none of one sounds like they're just talking normally, like how Coltrane talks.
Which would
Yeah.
be fine if they were consistent with it.
If they showed the other end of like going to dispatch and like hearing Coltrane talk and Coltrane's voice isn't a one-to-one and sounds off or like high pitched or something, then I'd understand a lot more. Then it's just like the technology of the audio of communication and stuff.
Could also be Whoopi Goldberg not caring. If everybody else is exaggerated and she's not, then she might be the oddball, not the world.
And mind you, that works, I think, to as a somewhat of a strength to the film, as that you get the idea of the straight, like laced, serious, overly serious cop with Teddy. So there is a sense of that dynamic that works accidentally, even though she clearly does not want to be there at all.
It
But
does make me think of the biochip about her aggressive level or whatever was written in because of that.
And very
could
well
be.
could be.
I think that's fine as a bit of an explanation as to why she's so angry and very reserved and super serious. Though I obviously they're not consistent with that, I think, but I do appreciate that they managed to maintain that as a dynamic for as long as they do.
You
Yeah.
know, something I like a lot about it. This is the world. I think it's pretty cool and distinct and unique. Um, like the dinosaurs being integrated into society with humans is kind of a fun little concept. I mean, having a dinosaur car where you got a tail door, so you can get your tail in and sit. Well, I guess you'd probably be standing in the car. I don't know. That would really. Either
It'd be
way,
standing.
the cars being made for dinosaurs. I like to see that. And the shoes, though not practical, uh,
No, but I do
are
appreciate the
cool.
visual. Yeah.
Yeah, having each toe have their own shoelace doesn't really make much sense. Um, but cool,
Does bring up a
fun.
question I have.
Okay. Throw it out
Okay, I just want to make sure you were done with your
there. I
thought
don't want it
first.
to get lost.
Okay, who the hell puts their shoes in their dresser drawer?
Those dirty T Rexes. That's who. Those darn scalies.
Careful, careful, you're sounding speciest.
Yeah.
No, but is that a
Um,
thing?
I don't know anyone personally that does that, but I'm sure there's people out there that do.
Get a shoe rack.
Yeah.
What are you
Um,
what are
I,
you
I,
doing?
I, I, I do that when I don't have access to a shoe rack, but typically I use a shoe rack. So I've had to store my shoes in a dresser drawer before. Usually at the very bottom one. And then, yeah, when I get a shoe rack, it usually all comes out and goes into the shoe rack. So,
Oh, to me, it just added more zaniness to the movie. I went, well, that's not normal.
well,
Oh yeah, he's
Theodore
got a
here is,
cookie launcher.
yeah.
Okay, yes, the cookie launcher I think is a gimmick to sell merchandise to children. I think how much Teddy loved cookies is like dinosaur loves cookies kind of like selling thing.
I
I
could
would agree if
potentially
it
see that.
had like a Chips Ahoy sponsor or something. I don't really know what they'd be selling here.
No, like toys or merchandise or advertising something like that. Just like dinosaur
For
loves
what?
cookies who solves crimes. Like it sounds like one of those zany '80s ideas. But
I
just
would
how much
agree
Teddy
for
was
this type of product.
distracted or how close. Well, this movie didn't make nothing with the VHS release. So, but I just feel like some aspects, like just every time a cookie came up, and Teddy was just like wide eyed, like, "Oh my god, cookies!" Oh, it it felt very cartoony in that manner for a serious movie about murder and mass genocide.
That does get into something. I this movie doesn't feel like a kids movie, but it feels like it tries to be. It, it
This,
it's like on a
yeah,
weird line.
Crimson, with you brought up the world look. To me, it was very much the Flintstones meets Joel Schumacher's Batman. Like those two worlds combined
Mm,
look.
Yeah, I
I can
definitely got
see
a lot
that.
of Joel Schumacher's Batman in this as well. Uh, to be clear, I'm fine with being a kids movie try tackling darker themes. Um, I mean, man, there's a Barbie movie that tackles the heat death of the universe. I mean, uh, but yeah, I definitely would say that this film doesn't know what identity it wants to commit to.
Well, I think possibility that Whoopi Goldberg had something to do with that.
Certainly possible.
From the production of what this movie wanted to be from the get-go was not the execution of what it delivered to come out at the end. And I think all the things in between is what has caused this question.
Yeah, I don't know if I have enough to go on to confirm that or not, but I would tend to agree that I'm not sure.
All right, is there a point you'd like to jump to?
Sure, you touched on the world building being super interesting. I also find the world building super interesting. Why are why are why is it only dinosaurs that are like people?
Great question. I had the same exact question.
I'm like, oh, he's got a dog. I'm like, why isn't the dog talking? Or the other animals that come up in the film?
My good faith answer, nothing backing, is the dinosaurs are probably um, like Kane's first revival of extinct animals, and he wanted them to talk.
Yeah,
That's not the
Like,
best
oh,
answer.
they're
obviously, I
annoying as
think
shit. Let me make all the other ones mute.
no. So
Well, I mean, he might just go ahead.
yeah. So we obviously have more than animals that he brings back. Obviously, he chose to make the dinosaurs like they have their own culture, they talk and stuff like that. But we know that he's bringing back raccoons. So my presumption is the best faith interpretation. Obviously, is still riddled with holes. So it doesn't really cover for the obvious fact that if it works for dinosaurs, every animal should be able to talk cartoonishly. Um, but yeah, so the implication is that the billionaire just wanted the dinosaurs only to be like people.
For some reason, he wanted that. It would be nice if
Couldn't tell you.
they dove into that because they didn't do anything with that.
Yeah. It kind of comes down to a bit of a flaw, unfortunately, because that is something they should have addressed, considering we see more than one pet in this world.
What animals do we see? We see the dog.
We see two
What
dogs.
else? Okay, two
Dog,
dogs.
zebra,
We see the
camel,
fish
elephant,
in the yeah.
the ice fish, tigers, chimpanzee.
Yeah, those were within his own zoo that he brought. I guess what I'm
Yes.
hinting at is like dogs haven't gone extinct while all the other more exotic animals have. Like he brought back the ice fish. That was an extinct animal. So I think dogs, because they're domesticated, they never went extinct, but all these other animals did. So that would be a difference of why the dogs don't talk, why
Yeah,
all
but the
the animals in the
technology
zoo
still
don't talk.
exists. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
just
have
come down to
no.
preference, I guess.
Yeah.
On Kane. Alrighty, let's go with a Springs point.
Oh boy. The very beginning of the dream sequence that all dinosaurs apparently are connected to or something because they all experienced a flash. Um, the overlay of the colored butterfly over a black and white footage image is actually pretty decent. Doesn't look half bad.
I really liked this beginning bit. Because I was expecting a stupid jokey movie based off the cover. That's all I knew going into this. And this opening, like, oh, there's actually something here. This is kind of cool. Obviously, it degrades into something else going forward. This intro is not indicative of the whole movie, but I think the black and white part looked good. Like it wasn't too dark, it wasn't too overexposed. That looked perfect to me. And the colors,
Yes.
it was all. I thought that was actually pretty well done.
This movie gave me a little bit of similar vibes to Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck. And
Wow.
what capacity of
Like
puppet creatures in a human world type deal.
That, but also like starts more serious, more like, oh, okay, he's lost, things are going on, like a serious topic of like Howard has to get home, and this is like Teddy has to solve a murder, and then it just becomes a wild, crazy, out of pocket explanation to like wrap up the movie.
All right. With that, I do see the parallel. Um, I have a question regarding the names of these things. That they're all blank Rex. If they're like a T Rex, are they all related in that regards? I mean, they're all like clones technically, but it's kind of interesting to think about. Theodore
I
Rex, Molly Rex, Oliver Rex.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're related because they weren't raised to be related, but they do share similar DNA, which I would say is the same with cloning humans. Like every clone you're like, I would not say. That's an interesting question. Clones of yourself, I would say you're related to because you share the same, like match DNA. But clones of other people, you're not related to those other people with or without them being original or clone. So I think relation to that would not be.
I guess the thing I would prefer is if Rex was tacked on to a name and not treated as a last name. Like Theodore
Oh,
Rex is one word, not
so you think
a first and a last name.
Teddy and Molly is about like it's leaning on the Lannister section for you?
Sure, if you want to go Game of Thrones. Uh, It's just the fact that they all share the same last name of Rex. And I would imagine that probably goes with all the other dinosaur versions of theirs. Like,
Well, Crimson,
I
I hate
don't
to break it
know,
to you, but there's probably
Ben
people out there in the
Ankylosaur.
I mean, yeah, but I'm sure there's people out there in the world who have the last name of Maroon who are not related to you.
Sure, but three of them being in the same area? Probably not.
It's a coincidence.
I think that's past coincidence. At that point.
But isn't the eulogizer at the funeral just called Sentry? Like his name has nothing to do with dinosaurs. Well, it's a pun for dinosaur, but like it's not a dinosaur name.
No, but that's not the full name, though, right? That's just his name. Like
Oh,
people
just
aren't
like
calling
first
him
name Sentry,
Theo
Sentry
Rex.
something.
Yeah, it could be
I
Century,
see.
whatever dinosaur. I already forgot what the eulogizer even looked like. So I just the last name being the type of dinosaur you are, I think doesn't make much sense in a world where you have dinosaurs living with people, because then you have to go into like um, legal stuff like birth certificates and all that jazz. And how many Theodore Rexes are in this town? Oh, sir, there's 200 of them. Weird decision.
Yeah. I
And
feel like
just so it's clear,
Rex.
I'd file this in like a nitpick, not anything significant.
Yeah, I'm fine with it being a nitpick. I would file this under like having obviously read a lot of fantasy novels and other things and how different writers use naming conventions in different universes. One of the things they probably could have done is they could have made Rex everyone's middle name. So like to give the idea that they're all from like the same clan or something similar to that vibe. And then they can have a different first name and a different last name.
Yeah, they could do that.
Maybe. Yeah.
The middle name's more of a classification and not a name.
Yeah.
All right, I'm a writer.
Sure. It's very on the nose, but I guess I appreciate the efficiency of it. Theodore Rex is a character that wants to be a detective or wants to do something more with his work. I found the dialogue to be a little bit awkward when he's like, "There's like nothing for you here, Teddy. You're a public relations guy," and then he's like, "Okay, I'm on my way," and then I'm like, "Okay." It was a little bit of an awkward bit of dialogue. Um, and then obviously the poster he reads dinosaur detective comics, so you get what he wants to do with his life pretty quickly.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like a lot of his Well, not just his, just the movie's dialogue itself is clunky.
Yeah, I use that word a lot in my notes. The dialogue is very clunky in this film.
Yes. I think it's in this first act. One of the worst bits of writing for me is Coltrane's response to "he's a dinosaur," and she says it 4 times in response to everything the commissioner's saying.
He's a dinosaur. And I
I
think
thought that was
the
very not
repetitious
just
nature is
lazy, but
supposed to be
bad.
comedic. But uh, I'm not gonna fight it. It's not great.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, it does not fit the rule of 3 for comedy since she does it 4 times, so it breaks that flow.
Yeah, I'll just every time that's brought up, I'll just say my end of it is I view that as a guideline, not a rule. Um, Something I didn't understand because it's pretty well established. Dinosaurs are part of society. It doesn't seem to be super new. We don't really get a time frame of how long they've been integrated into society, but they got they got buildings. They have custom cars. They've been around. It seems. So I don't know why they had to go to the Museum of Natural History for a dinosaur autopsy instead of them just having a dinosaur autopsy at the police station.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but I
Well,
I get it's amusing. I think is, but
yeah, amusing. Nice pun. Um, I think don't we d- because of the text roll don't exactly know how long these dinosaurs have been around here, and it might be that normal doctors in autopsy are trained for humans and not dinosaur. Like, there's no class yet to do that, so they go to archaeologists or biologists, which would be at the museum, who have actually studied more the anatomy of dinosaurs to be able to handle it better.
I mean, I get the point. It just seems with how the world treats the dinosaurs, it can't be too recent.
No, I just don't think there's classes or studies yet that would give a doctor the ability to do both human and dinosaur.
Right.
hmm.
I'll leave it as a nick for me. 'Cause it is the kind of a little bit of a world building thing that they don't address. Yeah, and I do think it is leaned more towards comedic. Oh, they went to a museum to check on dinosaur bones and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like this would work more if they made it more explicit that it's still a new technology. So like people in the police force aren't trained yet for like dinosaur dissections and autopsies. I think that would probably be the patchwork that I would add to it because it's not.
This has been our first scale murder ever.
Yeah, it could be that. And even then I still think they would have it at the police station, but they would call in the paleontologists and the other dinosaur like scientists into the lab.
Yeah, or somebody from Kane's organization because they are the ones that made the dinosaurs. Something.
I listed as an issue the whole time frame stuff.
Okay.
Um
Springs.
Yes, at 4:17 when Teddy's in his house, there's a shot where he goes up to his mirror to look at himself. I think it's a neat shot, and I know how they did it. That is not 2 dinosaurs, that is 1 dinosaur of Teddy with an overlaid shot atop each other to splice both in the same frame to show, like, a reflection look,
Mm-hmm.
and that is why
And
Teddy stops before touching the frame of the mirror, so that's where the splice takes place. Because even the mirror is angled at an interesting angle, so it can't be, like, dead on.
yeah, and they do a good job with the lighting, so you can't really see that it's off visually or anything. Writer point, please.
yeah, plot armor obviously for the Whoopi Goldberg's first action sequence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
why did the
her and
Zap
her
head sound like
partner.
Jawas?
Yeah, and I don't know, the Zapheads are interesting. But I mean, her partner, from what it looked like, he got shot in the face through the windshield, and then the next time we see him, he's like shot in the arm or something. He's fine. So that was kind of a weird way of portraying that.
Yeah, I would agree. I thought the whole sequence is very, very gimmicky.
It's gimmicky, over the top,
It's,
which
I guess, to show
it,
that she's still on the case or on some training thing before being off blacklisted or whatever, back on the grid. So how she managed herself with a partner, showing the Zap heads and what they do. I mean, at least it achieves two things to begin with rather than just one.
Yeah,
yeah, I was kind of hoping that they like knocked out the guy, but it was later said that the guy was dead, which to me meant they just watched them kill him because they were watching the whole time when they took the guy.
True. He was just running and they shot him.
I think it's the only time a gun works in this film.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of bullets
Brains,
these
not
guns have.
bullets.
Some guns
They're
have
shooting out
bullets, some guns
brains.
have not bullets, some guns have disintegrator bullets.
There's
Uh,
nothing for that, so I'm just gonna treat them like they're guns.
yeah, they all don't function the same.
Mm,
I would
I
have
guess to
liked to
go
see the huge ass toy maker handgun get used.
the toy maker.
That's
Yeah,
what I wrote down in
Yeah,
my
I would like
notes.
to see I would like to see the toy maker, just his whole set being used. Like he's got a lot of little fun things in there.
Yeah, but then the cops are there, so he blows up his whole factory. Sorry, we're not there yet, but ugh.
better safe than sorry. No evidence of more crimes they could tack on.
Yeah, it's a miracle they survived, and it's a miracle he survived.
Oh yeah, but yeah, we'll dive more into that one. I guess going back to the comedy bit, I don't subscribe to the rule of threes for comedy, but I do believe in overplaying a joke, and the stupid tail joke happened 100 times in this, where oh, whoops, bump this, bump
It did get
that.
too much.
It's
See,
everywhere.
what makes it worse is that he can clearly control his tail.
Yeah, he's tapping people
Yeah,
on the shoulder, or like going around people's necks, and
It's inconsistent as fuck with the tail. So I wouldn't mind the comedy if it was consistent, but the fact that he uses it and but he can use it like a muscle, like it's a like he can control the muscle super well.
like a monkey
I
tail.
take so many issues with it and his character because of it. It's that inconsistent really got on my nerves.
Yeah, way overplayed.
yeah, it's more of Teddy being inconsiderate to others. He's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, you shouldn't have been there." Well, yeah, but you can lift your tail up.
Sprinxie's like the length of like 8 people.
He's
He
being
fills
Yeah,
up a
but
room.
speciesist though, because
we've
he
seen
expects everyone to
he
conform
can
to him.
control it. That's like walking around with your arms in a T pose and people just fall, clotheslining. You're like, shouldn't have been there. Put your arms down.
You saw me coming. That is kind of amusing.
On the subject of a joke that surprisingly worked for me, one of the few, is the fake out with the partner Theodore's being assigned. You get this big buff dude like covered in gear and stuff like that before Whoopi Goldberg just pushes him out of the way.
Yeah, but that was what's the word? Not surprising.
No, it wasn't
Um,
surprising. There was no
Expected.
subversion there, but I still found it. I guess that's a bit of
predictable.
comedy that worked for me.
That's the word I was looking for. Predictable. Yeah. There seems to be one in every act. So I guess I don't know if I can only touch on the first one, but the explosion of the truck going off at 8 minutes. I feel like that's where a lot of this budget went is into these huge explosions
I mean the one at the end that gets Edge. Woo.
That's comical. That's too goofy.
Oh yeah, that's way over the top. I mean, I think a budget of 33 mil. I think they did a good job with it. They got a lot of visual
They
effects.
look
They got
good.
a boatload of practical effects. This movie looks pretty good. I think the worst. Actually, I'll just ask. Worst looking effects being either practical or digital, I guess. Starting with the writer.
I have to think about it. Give me a sec.
All right, starting with Sprinks.
When Mr. Summons gets frozen.
Okay. Because it's kind of like a cut to him being frozen.
Well, a practical. It looks like glue, and like
Yeah.
it's just
Okay.
foam, or not foam, but like mist, or whatever. I don't know.
Mhm.
That just looked really bad. But I guess that's more makeup department is what I'm leaning more than the effect. So I'd say freezing the ice fish.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it's an instant freeze too.
Yeah, freezing and unfreezing the ice fish. That, yeah.
Mine would
that
be
probably is the
panning up
worst
the
CG.
missile. The panning up the missile before it launches. I couldn't even tell what I was looking at until he's like, "All right, launch it." I'm like, "Oh, that was the missile." I couldn't tell what that was. We never see
You
like a
couldn't
wide shot
tell?
of
The
it.
text scroll at the beginning told you what it was.
You're right. I was just a fool. But no, the visual for it was not well executed. Sorry, writer, cut you off.
My least favorite set of visuals is probably the helicopter coming in over, like with the moon overcast as they're about to crash into the, uh, Kane's estate. That's probably my least favorite bit, but I think you guys have the worst CG, and I would agree with both of them.
Um, Something I think that would have been better for the integration of dinosaur world with human world is the bath scene where his tail sticking out of the shower and getting water all over the floor. It would have been nice to see like a tail mat or something below it to catch the water. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of neat because
That
it's
would be
not a T
something.
Rex tub; it's just a normal tub. So it's weird to take a shower intentionally getting your floors all wet with your tail sticking out.
I think it's weird to take someone you just met home and then leaving them, and they decide to take a bath in your bath.
She was getting ready for fun time with him. All right.
Yeah, that's why she found all these candles in his house and lit them up.
Exactly. Molly uh, was fast.
Molly's a diva.
A bit, yeah. I'll politely call her a diva.
Something I would have liked, and I think this is more leaning preference than anything I can hold to the movie, is knowing if this dinosaur thing was kind of this area or a global thing. Because it's kind of wild to think that it's global. that this one manufacturer of like cloned dinosaurs managed to get it everywhere in the lifespan of one person, mind you. It's not like it's been generational.
Yes, I'm gonna guess local because of Kane.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird because then I'd be like, oh, there'd be tourists here to see the dinosaur people.
Yeah,
Uh,
but that's just a gray area of, I suppose, world building.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not super relevant to the story, but it would be neat to get information on it.
yeah. All right, writer point, please.
I had one. Let's see. It was the gala. I think the commissioner is almost too gullible. But I guess I'm okay with it being manipulated by someone who's trying to ingratiate himself into Kane so he can go to the next world or whatever.
Yeah, he is pretty gullible, but I think it was a decent enough sway I think he said the right words for it to make sense. It's not
Yeah.
too absurd of a reason. Like, it's good for public eye and dinosaur-human relations.
Which is fair.
Yeah. Anything to add to that, Sprinks?
No, I'm in agreement. The commissioner is kind of just a one note.
It's a little bit over dramatic how the goon or the guy working for Kane hears that happens to hear the most important part of the conversation.
Of course he does.
Yeah, and that to me is like, okay, that's just convenient. I would probably label that as what was the middle one? It was
Issue?
issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd probably put that more on Nick for me. It's, no, that's later act. I won't bring that up. Never mind. So a biological thing, I feel like they need to address it. If you have a carnivore change to be an omnivore, real world scenarios proves that that doesn't really work. The animal tends to die if it's a pure carnivore. They'd have no herbs in their diets. Usually it doesn't work out for them. So converting a T-Rex into an omnivore is kind of weird.
I would, again, that's something they would need to explain. I can think of ways to explain it, but since none of them are mentioned in the movie, I just chop that down as them being lazy and it's an issue. Or a nick.
I took it as kind of like the vampire effect that they gave the dinosaurs just to be omnivores, just kind of saves it
Yeah.
rather than like constantly needing meat and seeing walking meat all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, I took it as the Zootopia route. They could have been genetically altered to not be carnivores anymore, realizing that would be an issue. Which I think is more believable than like none of the other animals on being unable to talk. But again, there's no mention of it, so
Would have been nice in a text scroll.
yeah, that's exactly what you would have in a text crawl. Or a good one anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
I will say this is
Please.
probably the worst text scroll I've ever seen in a movie.
It's pretty bad.
It's up there.
From
The
finishing the
only
movie. At the very beginning of the movie, it's like, okay, totally fine. Like, oh, interesting.
yeah, but
Upon
once you
finishing the
have
movie, it's terrible.
yeah, when you finish the movie and you have the context of the text crawl, it's one of the worst text crawls, I think. I think
Yeah.
the only other ones that I would say are bad are the ones that are intentionally bad.
Yeah, like parody stuff.
Yeah.
No, I still have Cheap Detective better.
No.
Well,
Well,
That
yeah,
gives both world and comedy.
no, yeah, that's what I mean though. Like they're bad, but they're supposed to be. So like that they get a bit of a benefit of that because they play off of their text crawls as a joke, like Spaceballs.
And I don't agree with that. I don't think they're bad.
Sprinks, writer's not saying they're bad.
No, they're
They're meant to be
designed
bad,
to be
but it
lesser,
makes it good.
which is good for the context of it. Yes.
Yes, they are incredibly well made. They're incredibly well made bad text crawls. There you go.
Point from you, Sprinks.
Yeah, who the hell catered this event? They have a table full of meats and one tray of cookies.
Hannibal Lecter.
One cookie per person.
Yeah. It was just so, I'm like, just a table of meats and cookies? At a gala?
It's weird that they have the rule of one cookie per person. I don't know any fucking party that would do that.
No,
I
that's
think
weird.
Frenchie was just being mean.
He's just being racist against the dinosaur.
Speciesist.
Species against the dinosaur.
But also point out at 1812 when Teddy hugs the commissioner and summons. Is it summons or summer? Couldn't tell.
I think Summer.
Summer.
I had that written.
Okay, when he hugs them both, and Frenchie comes over to the cookies and gets hit with a tail. From the angle where Teddy hugs the two of them, He's next to the table, but then when Frenchie comes over, Teddy and them are more to the left and get hit. So while the hug is going on, Teddy is walking them towards the exit.
That's kind of funny to think that they're hugging while walking.
For me, that's the only way for that shot to line up.
I mean, it's clearly just a continuity error.
Okay,
He's
so
not
it's
walking
continuity
with the hug.
I'm saying it's one of the two. If the Frenchie segment in between that shot in between the hug that's going on, they have to be moving.
Yes. Yeah. If we were grounded in a real world, they'd have to be walking and hugging at the same time. But that doesn't make sense. So it would be continuity. At least that's what I'm filing under.
I didn't double check the ending shot if they've actually moved away from the table, because I think everything's really close to like just neck up or like chest up kind of shots.
They made Whoopi Goldberg's character name.
Coltrane. Katie
Coltrane.
Katie.
Katie.
That's it. I'll go with Katie.
Or as my first note, I wrote down Cold Train.
That's what I wrote. Katie. They pulled her away for a priority one. What was the priority one at that point? Because the conversation that she'd be the partner for Theodore hasn't happened yet.
It might not be necessary for the movie. Just like taking her away from Sebastian and just say she's busy all the time or always working. And it was unrelated to the murder of Oliver or anything else.
Ugh. I say that's pretty bad then.
Well, as you just pointed out, the priority one, if it's to be Teddy's partner for the murder case, then it wasn't lined up correctly. Unless it wasn't about partnership and it was just saying you're on a case for this dead dinosaur, which is priority one. So she went to where the commissioner was, and that's where the partnership happened. So she only got half the information.
Yeah, I mean, that would be good if they kind of explained that better.
I feel like we're going to be saying that a lot.
Possibly. How are your Act 1s looking?
I've got one more, I think.
Might have a couple.
All right, Sprinks, then you can go.
1955 timestamp. The car of Kane and Dr. Shade and I think Mr. Edge all in the car driving. That first shot of going to the license plate is such a fake car driving shot. That is just a front of a car and the camera shaking to represent driving.
I imagine there's going to be a couple moments where you bring up the camera, Sprinks.
Yeah, there is some really fake ass shit in this movie.
Because, I mean, I wrote down some camera stuff. It's got to be pretty bad for me to bother writing that down.
Yeah, even I wrote a camera thing, I think.
It's weird.
It feels like they're playing off of a budget, but they had the money. Unless all the money went to all these like explosions and dinosaur costumes.
I imagine that's a good size.
It's a healthy fucking portion of it.
Yeah, I mean, 7 mil was Goldberg by herself.
They couldn't set a camera on a driving car?
I mean, they might not want to risk the camera. I have no idea.
Oh, okay. All the money went to all that other stuff. They only had enough for one camera.
Probably not. It's a pretty big studio. It was a New Line.
New Line. Yeah.
Yeah. New Line.
They've done a lot of movies. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I get the complaint.
This is an example of why New Line was going under until a certain project a few years later.
I'm not good with production companies. What did they do that launched them?
What saved them, you mean?
Sure. Yeah. What are you hinting at?
Lord of the Rings.
2003. No.
Yeah. All right, we're a writer.
I would say this is a lot of the jokes. They go on a little bit too long. So Goldberg or Katie getting into Theodore Rex's car and going through the whole bit with the bar and getting her head smushed up to the top of the roof. I can see why she hated this set. But that again, a lot of what I'm gonna say about a lot of the comics, they just last a little bit too long. This is one of them for me. I think it lasted a little too long.
Interesting. I would take away the word little. For me, every joke is too long.
Every joke?
I think so. Especially the tail whacking people.
I think the tail whacking people is not that the joke's going on for too long. It's just the joke is repetitive. Is the problem with that one. So that's where I draw the distinction. So for like at the tail thing, that's not a singular joke playing over and over again. I view that as repeating a joke.
It's
okay. And from what you just said, I don't quite get what you mean because it sounded like you said the same thing twice.
Yeah, I was running over in my head. So what I mean is I don't view the tail thing whacking stuff. I don't view that as a one joke lasting throughout the movie. I view that as a joke repeating itself. Like the joke is just repeating. So there's one tail instance would be a joke by itself, and then another one would be a separate joke.
Okay. So not like a catchphrase, but trying to find an example to help. Like a catchphrase would be like the same thing over and over and over again, but at different points.
Yeah.
This is more like Inspector Gadget 2 when all his devices screw up. Like it's a screw up joke every single time, but a different result happens.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to take a random guess. Writer has not seen Inspector Gadget 2, but
I haven't seen the first one.
Oh, interesting. Didn't know that. You haven't seen either Inspector Gadget movies.
Mm-mm.
It's crazy. The first one is very horny. It's one of the horniest kid movies I've ever seen. It's crazy.
Wow.
Anywho, back to Theodore Rex. Sorry.
No, you're bringing out a comparison. It's kind of hard because, as we've talked about, the reaction to comedy is subjective. I just feel like the jokes are bad in this. There's nothing even tickling to me in this.
Well, I guess that brings up, what is your favorite joke?
I think I'm the guy in the bag or whatever. That guy, the little dude. I guess he was the funniest for me, but that was barely anything to me.
Okay.
My favorite bit in this film was not even a joke, I think. It was just bad, and I found that funny. Because I would say a lot of the objectivity when it comes to comedy is timing, and because most of the jokes here go too long, I would say a lot of the jokes are poorly written.
Okay, are you going to share with us what you found was the funniest?
What I think was the funniest joke, or what I found to be the funniest scene?
The funniest thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, the funniest thing for me, and this is subjective, it was the interrogation scene when they captured the toy maker.
Okay.
No,
I don't think that's supposed to be funny, but I found it funny.
I disagree. I think that's supposed to be funny.
I think it's supposed to be funny.
He's sitting on him and farting the whole time as he's wailing. I think that's supposed to be funny.
Then I think that is the one joke that worked for me. Because I think it's just the dichotomy of the good cop, bad cop being terrible at it. Like, see, it's poorly written, the good cop, bad cop dynamic, but in a weird way that adds to the comedy of that scene, I guess.
Wow, it really says a lot about a movie if the funniest thing to writer is a dinosaur fart joke.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even thinking of the fart joke when I say it. I'm thinking of the Teddy trying to pretend to be tough. Like, Teddy's
like
trying
he's
to
gonna
pretend
eat
to be
'em.
the bad cop. And then, so that whole, yeah.
Oh, so the thing leading up to the interrogation, not the interrogation.
After the explosion. Or before the explosion.
It's after the explosion.
Okay.
So he's
so that I'm gonna
tied
eat
down
you
in the
stuff.
scene. He's upside down or whatever. But he hasn't broken yet, I guess.
Gotcha.
Okay, I see. Pretty much all the verbal stuff, not anything else there.
Yeah.
All right, Springs.
I think the funniest thing to me is at the club, and Whoopi Goldberg's up at the bar, or Coltrane's up at the bar, and the grinning dinosaur is looking at her, and she goes, "You think you're gonna get some?" and is laughing at him.
Yeah, that one's in the trailer.
Oh, I didn't see the trailer.
Yeah,
Upsetting, gives it away,
afterwards.
but I think that's probably the funniest. Actually, I think just Whoopi Goldberg laughing, so it's that scene, or when she sees the Zap heads again and is laughing at him, because it's with the context now, Crimson, a little more. It kind of sounds like she went into hysteria, wanting to be done with this movie and just laughing.
It does kind of feel like that looking back at those scenes. It does seem hysterical.
Though one could argue the possibility that it's character damaging for her to be this enthusiastically light comedy, like air person, when her biometrics are set to aggressive, where everything else is this stern attitude.
I got crazy whiplash when she attacked like what was it, the zappers? What are they called?
Zap heads.
The zap heads. When she went in, it's like, oh, you expect me to come in by myself without my partner? And then Theodore
Yeah.
Teddy
That's
brings
exactly what
in.
I said. It's out of
I was
character for
getting
her, I think.
whiplash.
I'm like, oh my,
We'll
it's so
dive that
cool to see
more
her
in my
act, but she's so inconsistent with everything that came before. That's pretty much my thoughts on it.
I had a bit of that, which I think just goes on to bad editing, where funny, right, the joke I said where she's laughing at the guy grinning, and she walks over to Teddy, and then she's not laughing anymore, and she's completely serious, like, we gotta get to the case and get out of here. But that vocal point is overlaid before the shot change, so she's laughing and then immediately dead stops laughing to tell Teddy, we got to get out of here.
We got to get out of here.
Exactly. That's exactly how it sounds. And I go, that's not cut right.
No, I suppose not. All right. Sprinks, you have more?
I have two more. First one
Okay,
is, I don't think that the Museum of Natural History should have a sign that can be easily destroyed by a bump by a car.
Or
I think that's played as a
on.
joke. Yeah, I think it's played as a joke, and I don't like it.
Okay. Yeah, I'd file that in, I guess, the nitpick category.
My other point, just to finish up my Act 1 ones, I guess is more into you, Crimson, being that I would guess you're the most knowledgeable of dinosaurs here. I'm certainly
Okay,
in last
we'll see.
place. I think Ryder knows more than I do. But I'm going to guess Crimson knows more.
Possibly. I mean, Ryder is a biologist, kind of.
Okay.
We do study fossils.
question
It's
for the
part of the
room.
fun.
All right. Let's hear the question.
Are dinosaur tails that much like human fingerprints?
Well, from the few fossil remains, fossil in air quote, it's more imprints. They kind of would be, depending on the dinosaur, of course. Some are more smooth than others in different spots of the dinosaur. So I would say, practically, I think that would make sense.
I would leaning towards yes, because there could be different scale patterns, but they're not patterned like human fingerprints. So I'm solidly a 50-50 on that one. Obviously, we would need to do a lot of reconstruction, but
Okay. I just didn't know. I'm like, oh, is this an actual, like, scientific thing that's real? Or is this a made up mumbo jumbo for the movie?
on the fun fact of it being a scientific thing, I do have a scientific fun fact that I think the movie hinted at, but I didn't really go into. That's different from your point, Springs, so I'm gonna let you finish it.
Oh, that was the end. I just didn't know if it was a real thing that they included to go off of, or if it was just more rubbish in the movie.
I think
I
it could have been
It's
any
a
part of the
theory.
body.
I do think it's a theory. So it's not complete rubbish, but I would say that there's not really a lot of evidence supporting it.
Okay.
Um, the line about when they go into the nightclub and they talk about what that smell, and that's the smell of fresh air. Um, I like that idea because back in the day, uh, Earth's atmosphere was a lot more oxygenated during the time of dinosaurs, so the air would smell different. So I like the idea that the nightclub has a thicker oxygen atmosphere. But that's me reading into a dialogue line.
Yeah, I mean, part of that time being more oxygen rich is what caused animals, or well, any organism really, to be big.
Yeah,
Insects,
the
what
Cambrian
have you.
explosion, I think is what it's called.
So, yeah, I don't know if that was them going that route, or you have a smog-ridden city with no green life, and then you go into this place and it's got vegetation. I think that might be all they were
That's probably
going for.
legitimately all it is, but I still appreciated the my ability. I wanted to read into it because I was just desperate. Okay.
Mhm. Fair enough. I guess for me, I just like the word dinocide. It's kind of a fun word, dinocide. Yeah. And I guess to go more on that, the actual like crime scene, seeing Oliver dead on the ground, it felt impactful. It felt real. It didn't feel like just a puppet on the floor. uh, it. I wish that it Oliver looked a bit more different than Theodore though, because it kind of does just look like Theodore. Like if he had different like patterns on him or something.
I think it could be the same costume.
It's definitely possible. I didn't find anything to confirm that or not, but it's certainly possible. It would make a lot more sense instead of spending a few $1,000s to make a suit for one shot of it being on the ground. Right? Any other points before going into Act Two?
I am out.
I am also out.
Alrighty, we're heading into Act Two. So Molly is on stage now performing to when they learn about the butterfly bomb that the toy maker made. And last act started with the writer, so let's start with Sprix on this one.
Oh boy. Um, I'm not sure if this will go to Instagram or not, but I'm just sending something to the two of you of an image. My first note of Act Two reads, "All I can think about during Molly's song is this is a Crimson movie."
Yeah,
In the moment, that's what I would. Just this whole dinosaur nightclub of all these costume dinosaurs, and this lady putting on a song, and Teddy just oohing and eyeing, and it's all this dark mood lighting. I just went, of course, Crimson chose this.
Can I put this up on
woo!
our OBS?
Yeah. So I don't know. It's funny. It's funny what you view as me sometimes. But I can totally see why you see that's me.
Coming off of
Uh,
what you've shown for this podcast, and some things that you go, yeah, this movie's great, and I'm like, this is donkey shit level of cinema. And you go, what are you talking about? This is so good. I love Little Vampire. I'm like, cool, totally cool. That's fine. But it's different. And this just
um,
feels like in that ballpark.
oh no, I can see why this seems like a Crimson movie. Absolutely.
Yeah. It makes me very excited for some reason ratings to come.
I'm sure it does. For the actual singing, I don't like the song itself. It's very boring.
It's no
The
Post
dinosaurs
Malone.
are all like excited and stuff. I'm like, I'm falling asleep here, Molly. Can you start actually singing something interesting?
I agree. It should have been more lively. Actually, they should have
Yeah.
gotten licenses to Walk the Dinosaur, the song. Everybody
That,
get on the floor. Everybody do the dinosaur. That would have been great.
well, I mean, they must have because that's the song they used in the trailer.
They should have had in the movie.
Yeah. I don't know if it would fit at this club, but yeah, should have been in here.
Just pick a more
I
lively
think
song.
no, that would have been funny if it cuts to that and it cuts to the grinning dinosaur. Like just a random cut to him dancing. I think that would have added some humor.
Yeah, very well could have. All right, and Ryder, a point from you.
Sure. Actually, I think it's one point I might have skipped over. I like that even though we find out they're herbivores, but the food that has all the nutrients that the dinosaurs eat, kind of like as their supplement. It's a nice little bit of world building, attempt at world building.
Yeah, and I guess more on the topic of the dinosaurs being things. They are obviously not dinosaurs. They are hybrids. They're smaller than they would normally be.
What?
And I know.
You're telling me
They're
dinosaurs
smaller.
couldn't talk?
Some of them are bipedal when they should be quadrupeds. So obviously there is some DNA tweaking happening. Just throwing it out there. The
Blown at least 3 minds in the audience.
at least 3. Oh, I hope I did.
I think so.
Speaking of 3, Theodore cheating and hitting 3 balls for that freaking kid to try blocking. Cheap shot.
Sebastian. Yeah.
Oh, was Sebastian the goalie? I didn't remember.
I think so. I think other than, I guess, Coltrane getting the badge holder, which doesn't really come through more other than a connection to Sebastian, that is a very weak scene.
Very, very weak.
Which is a shame because I think that it could have been a meaningful scene, or at least come across as more meaningful because it comes across as strictly the bad guys now know about them, and they just happen to pick this day to do it.
Pretty much. Sebastian as a character is so wasted. It's so hollow. I felt no chemistry between him and Katie of any sort of dynamic at all.
It's a kid in a dinosaur movie in the 90s. Let's give him a monkey.
I found this guy.
I don't know. That felt just like a 90s stereotype thing. Just like, give the kid in the movie a monkey.
Monkeys were everywhere. But I mean, I can buy a kid just taking an animal, so it's not like out there.
I suppose. Right. I don't know. Incredible Shrinking Woman just had a monkey. Sorry, had an ape.
Yeah. Sprinks, point please.
Let's see here. I guess I can piggyback off of that scene, the hockey thing, for a little. Sebastian the day before said, "Hey, can you come to see me during my recess, like at school?" There was a bus there where they're playing street hockey. There's no bus. Like, who drove the kids during recess in a bus to this location?
See, when I hear recess, I think of school. I didn't see anything other than I didn't see anything that made it obvious that this was a school to me.
I didn't see school at all. I just saw a school bus and some kids coming off of it.
I've never ever heard of kids getting sent somewhere outside of school during recess.
During recess? No.
So we all agree this is an issue?
I don't. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's just the world. I have it as a nitpick because I don't know the world or the school system or anything of this time that it's displaying, but it's just so weird and like slight little details they said in dialogue that resulted to this. So it's confusing for a modern day normal audience of like what our world looks like comparatively. So that's why I have it low.
Well, because
on the
it's
damage
so
level.
out of the norm, it's up to the creators to explain it.
Yeah,
We
just
can't just
change the word
assume
recess
it.
to like, oh, just come by and see my friends at the old hockey rink,
Yeah,
or
we're going to the car
Check me out
park.
after school at the blank blank parking lot.
yeah,
Something.
come by around noon. Just easy as that. The word
At the junk
recess
car
really
park or something like that.
makes
Yeah.
it odd. But the school bus also being
Record.
there is like a connection to that, which is odd.
I don't remember the school bus. So, is it just driving by, or did they get
No, it's
off of it?
parked. It's parked when Teddy and Coltrane come kind of out of that tunnel in the top left, I guess from like a wide shot. The bus is on that left side.
That's so weird.
And then there's us overcomplicating it, and it could very well just be a weird looking school.
I said if they didn't want to, I obviously it's intentionally feeling zany and it's really really weird for the world, but because it's so different from ours, that's just something they need to explain to make it more clear.
Yeah. Ryder, did you recognize Shade?
No,
No.
I
You
don't even
definitely
know who
recognize
Shade
her from
is.
something. The like female
Sir
right
or
hand to
Doctor Shade.
Kane.
Oh, Doctor Shade. Okay, yeah, I wrote her as like I literally have her down as Kane's physician.
Yeah,
In that case,
her.
yes, I do recognize her, but I don't know from where.
Buffy, Drusilla,
Yeah, I wouldn't
Of
have been able
course,
to tell
Buffy
that
character.
underneath the makeup.
Spike's girlfriend.
Great. Even more of a Crimson reason for it to be this kind of movie.
Well, yeah, and then Edge. He's Reverend Driscoll in Haven. I recognize a lot of the people in this movie.
That's where I know him from. Yeah, okay. His face also tick on my brain, but
No, he's also in a couple movies. And I'm blanking on.
Yep, all these C-listed actors.
Sprinks. I think he is from something you would know. Edge.
Maybe. I didn't recognize him.
All right, a
well,
point from you, Ryder.
one of my favorite one of the scenes that I actually thought was trending to good was when is his name Edge? The like the big henchman that's always with Kane?
The longer
Yeah,
hair. dude.
that's Edge. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. When Edge is threatening the leader of the weird gang, and he's like
Spinning.
having two of them like executed. I thought that was okay. I actually liked that.
Yeah.
Because he screwed up and Edge was not playing around.
I do like Edge as like a cartoony henchman.
Yeah, he's a good cartoony henchman.
Yeah.
And Sprinks, you would know him from 2012.
Oh, great. A movie I've seen once.
Yeah, he's the captain of the arc.
I, wow. A guy who has like what 3 scenes in that 3-hour movie.
There's a fair amount. Yeah.
How did you two go about the liking that Coltrane is like a cyborg?
Heavily underutilized. I think if the movie didn't have that, the movie wouldn't really be different outside of her getting shot.
I think that would have been better if she gets shots and then she brings that up as a surprise.
It just feels shoehorned if it was like that.
Yeah, that's
A
pretty much
little.
my take on it. It's underutilized. I'm fine with it. It's the world is already zany, but it's just an underutilized aspect and it changes nothing.
Well, being that it's underutilized, it feels like the excuse for the production on set arguments with Whoopi Goldberg. Like a reason
It
just behind this character
it
doing like being this aggressive an
retrospectively
attitude.
it does retrospectively feel like that, but separating from that from what's happening in the film itself, it comes across as pointless.
Yeah, I mean, if she could use like super strength to break something during one of the fight scenes, or I don't know,
Oh gosh,
something.
Teddy should have used his super strength far more.
Yeah, been in the metal bar.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my god, he has super strength. Why
Dino
hasn't this not been used at all?
So, I mean, I agree with that. I agree Teddy's strength should have been shown more. I think Katie's mechanical abilities, whatever they may be, should have been highlighted more instead of just plot armor.
That it would have been a better reveal if she gets shot and she falls over and Teddy thinks he just lost his partner and then she explains it. Sure, it would be a little lame excuse, but then it would actually be a little bit of a surprise and maybe a little more emotional pact between the two characters.
Okie dokie, writer, you got a point for us?
I actually want to talk a bit about that before I jump to another point. Just add on. I agree. I think the reveal would have added something. I think obviously for that to work, they would have had to build their characters a little bit more, because we have their dynamic down, but we don't really have anything beyond their dynamic, which would be just like how the characters grow to care about each other. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think so.
I mean, there's some payoffs in this that I think do not get do not deserve to be paid off. I think their bond is one of them. But we'll dive more into that in Act 3.
I would agree with that. Uh, I guess they have the police force has a magical like clothes making device for dinosaurs. That was a little weird and very very specific and niche for a species that has no place in the police force.
You know
I
what?
was a
That
little
is
disappointed there.
true. It is weird that they had that clothes manufacturing thing.
Yeah. I didn't quite like the line that officer says to Teddy. I didn't write the whole thing down, but just like telling Teddy to blend in to go to the zoo. That's like telling a human to go to a prison.
Well, yeah, speciesist. I also didn't like that his like undercover cop outfit looked almost the same as his other outfit he was already wearing.
Yeah. Just take away that like
Had the
orangey
big
sweater.
poofy collar that's just gone.
Yeah. You just
And
got
I
a leather
don't
jacket.
think it's a joke either.
And they changed his shoes from blue to red.
Ooh, so it's
I'm
such
an
undercover.
undercover cop.
I know.
I liked the transition of Edge's like yell in the camera zooming in his mouth. Very cheesy,
I knew
very
you would.
corny, but I
I knew
liked
you
it.
would. Of course.
Do you not like it?
No, it's just another one of those things that feels like a 90s kid movie of the time kind of thing.
That is a
Like
shot
a
that's kind
transition
of dead
usage.
now. I can't
Yeah,
think
you
of
don't
modern
see that in
movies
movies
really
today.
doing that.
The
No.
closest. Am I misremembering Prisoner of Azkaban? Because I think they do something similar to that in Prisoner of Azkaban. Or if I'm just thinking
They
of
go
maybe.
they don't go to a mouth, they go into Harry's eye.
Okay.
You got the end of Harry on Buckbeak, but I wouldn't really count that. Where it does the freeze frame on him.
Yeah.
No, that
Okay.
doesn't go into his mouth.
Yeah. I guess it's
But
the eye
it's
that I'm
getting
thinking
close.
of. It's the transition to where it's the whistle from his mom screaming or whatever, right?
Yeah,
That's the
that's
shot
into
I'm
his
thinking
eye.
of. Okay. That's the closest thing I could think of to a modern one.
All I could think of, it wouldn't be live action, but in cartoons, Mitchells versus Machines, I think there's a shot where it goes into the dad's mouth.
And that would be more in line with like an animation. Like live action, I think
Yes.
that's completely dead.
Yeah, they just
Okay,
don't make movies like they used to.
that's true.
For better or for
But as we've
worse.
covered on the podcast, there were bad movies then, and there's bad movies now. There's always been bad.
Yeah,
There's always been good movies too.
I like how you say on the last week, a movie that came out last year.
Yeah. suppose. Alrighty, let's go with a Springs point, please.
At 37:45, when they get to the precinct to go inside, the audio balancing of the cadets talking and mocking Coltrane for having a dinosaur partner, and Teddy's voiceover work of whether he's talking to Coltrane or it's in his head because he's walking away from the camera, are too synced up equally that they're talking over each other kind of thing.
Yeah, the crowd's just as loud as he is.
Yeah. Which is bad audio balancing.
I agree.
I concur.
This act had, I think, the worst camera shot or camera work. And it's at 58 minutes, 7 seconds. And that's when Theo walks up to Katie when she's in the garbage truck. And the camera just does this like waddle thing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
imagine it's
It just
try
turns
to
on its side.
emulate his
It just
walk.
turns into a Dutch angle for some reason.
Yeah.
No,
I think it's to emulate his walk, but it's so slow and it's horrible.
Yes, I think that's the camera trying to give this lovey-dovey, what was it, Gander? I don't know if it's a word from the 90s. Glander? Your glands take over or whatever. That, I think, is trying to replicate that into the camera of what Teddy is feeling. So it's all like sway and like loose and free.
Regardless, I think it's horrible. That's the worst for me in this.
Fair enough. It's a pretty bad one.
Comes across more like drunk.
I think mine might be an Act 3 one. No, it's an Act 2 one. I think we're talking about the same one.
Oh, all right. Well, Ryder, you can bring up the next point.
Yeah, sure. It's very, very convenient. Ed shows up to Kane's estate minutes before Rex and Katie arrive.
Coltrane.
Yes, the Coltrane. I have to differentiate that from the real Coltrane in Gears of War.
The real one. This one came out first.
Yeah, that doesn't make this one the best one.
Don't pull that sinister stuff on us.
It's true. This did come out before Gears. But I doubt the creators of Gears of War saw this movie.
It's probably for the benefit of their
creators, plural as a whole, yes. An individual who has and maybe likes the connection could be.
But I it's just convenient. The Edge says, "Hey, we now have our lever to use against them. We've captured the kid or whatever." And then they show up immediately right afterwards. It's convenient.
What a lame arcade cabinet to kidnap Sebastian.
Yeah,
just in the corner somewhere.
You know what it looks like? It looks like a fucking not real arcade machine that would be used as an obstacle in a laser tag room.
Very specific.
I guess kinda.
It's very specific. It's just because it looks exactly like the cover you get in laser tag rooms.
I guess.
At least in the three. Yeah, at least in the three that I've been to, of the five that I've been to, they look very much like that.
What I think is very lazy about the arcade cabinet is that there's no screen.
No, it's just like this gray silver screen. It doesn't even look like it's glass or anything. It's weird.
But yeah, Sebastian is really, really dumb, but also that's also a really, really dumb way to capture him.
Yeah, it's a dumb way to capture him.
Puns and noises. Ooh.
Good thing it wasn't some other kid.
Yeah.
No, but
this
they make
thing that's just appeared in this park that I spend all the time at. That's so.
This weird longer shot of him going down this spiral ramp to get there. I don't know why that had to be so long.
Yeah, couldn't really tell you.
Now, I will say a fine transition is at 4356 when they're in the trash in the garbage truck and it goes by and the frame of the garbage truck goes overlays to the next scene. And they do that a couple times. I guess at the very end of the movie they do that with Teddy, and as he's walking the credits are like coming up behind him kind of look.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And yeah, I think they're decent. I'll jump to a line that I don't think made sense with what we have, and that's when uh, Molly wanted to go to Theodore's place, and she gave him the eyes, and he's like, "You know the eyes kill me." I'm like, she doesn't even know you. You've had no time to build up this comment of you know the eyes kill me.
True. I agree.
Yeah.
Also, her saying, "Do you have a breath mint?" Her lips aren't moving. That is an 80-yard over whisper.
Yeah, that's true.
I agree.
I think the puppeteer work in this is pretty good throughout the film.
I think so. I think it would have been nice if they had more than, I forget what you said, Crimson, 46 expressions? Because they can only do so much.
Mm-hmm. Well, 46 spots of articulation or movement. So you could make more than 46 expressions with that. But yeah, I think they do pretty good job. And apparently, it was miserable for the people in the suits.
Oh, I can believe it.
Super hot and
I
in
can
weird
imagine.
positions. Yeah. All right, writer.
Yeah. The funeral scene goes on a little bit too long. I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to give the dinosaurs a sense of culture. Still bad. Katie says a line, all right, I'm gonna go, catch up with Kane, and then we just find her outside by herself. Like, what happened off screen?
I guess she didn't.
Yeah.
I
Interesting.
guess not.
Went
But
outside,
it's not acknowledged at all, so it's weird.
Standing on the cross or the pavement and just looking around for his car, and it's like, oh, he's gone.
Yeah. And
I
guess on the topic of the funeral, it felt very Star Trek-y to me. The type of funeral. I don't think it relates to a Star Trek funeral,
It
but
doesn't.
it
But
felt like one that would be in an episode.
yeah. It just lacked all the credible writing, the credible characters, and
The unique way to dispatch them of liquefying them and feeding them to the plants, continuing the cycle, all that stuff.
Yeah. I will say I understood that reference. I will say that the one thing about the funeral I did like was Kane apologizing to them because he's admitting his guilt without admitting his guilt. So like in a weird way it obfuscates the suspicion they're throwing away because he's throwing him off the scent a little bit by admitting to being responsible without taking full responsibility, which I liked. That was a nice bit of Kane intelligence I appreciated.
Yeah, but I would also like to underline that he felt no guilt.
Yes, he obviously felt no guilt. For the greater good.
How's Act 2 looking, guys?
I have one more.
Yeah, it's like I didn't really have that many for this one. Spriggs, you can go then.
Okay. When Teddy takes Molly to his apartment and is showing her around, and he's like, "Oh, this is my dog Zippy, and this is kind of my place." When Molly turns on the music, does his apartment magically grow a dance floor? I couldn't tell if it's just a new angle of a camera to show how wide his apartment is when they're dancing, or not.
I'm leaning more of the angle because the first time we see him in the beginning of the film walk around his house, it's kind of just like one half of the room. We don't get a full view. So I'm thinking it's just a wider angle, so we get to see more of the floor space.
Okay. It was just a little shocking then, of like actually seeing like the floor or more of the floor to show how big it is for him to walk around when the beginning shot of him getting dressed and everything seemed maybe even half that space, and he was still able to get around fine. I don't know. Maybe it was more like an optical illusion kind of look with the background, but
That's possible.
Instead of like, what's it called? Um,
being honorable to give the credit where it's due.
right. She takes credit for something that Teddy did, and it's weirdly placed because this is after she already defended Teddy to the commissioner, if I'm getting my scenes right. And I think that's why I have an issue with this, because they've clearly established that, oh, she's growing to care about her partner now, but this kind of completely undercuts that quote unquote character growth. So it's just an inconsistency again with the character.
Um, yeah, I can agree. I don't really remember the sequence very well, much like you, if this was before or after the commissioner thing. But
As far as I remember, I think it's
regardless,
after,
I
but
the only thing I could go for is she's not Team Teddy yet, and she does not like dinosaurs, so I don't think it's completely out of her character to take credit from a dinosaur. But I guess that would be my counter to that.
if it's, I have more issues with it. It's a flaw if it's after she defends Teddy to the commission. Like, don't judge a dinosaur by their scales. If it's after that scene, I take it as a big flaw. As it is, if it's before, it's probably down to a nick or nitpick for me.
I
But
can
I
add
don't
that as
remember
a
which.
character nitpick.
Um, I'll jump to Theodore getting his car stripped while driving by the zapper dudes, zap heads.
Zero awareness, yeah.
Zero awareness kind of felt like an isolated scene because nothing really came of it. Like the zapper heads didn't get apprehended. They made fun of him for it.
What are you talking about? They
Gets
get the
his car
garbage
stripped
truck.
while in it. Hmm?
So what are you talking about? They get the garbage truck now. That was
Well, yeah,
so
Yeah,
important.
that's what came out of it.
yeah. And I wrote down, why isn't he covered in the extinguisher stuff? And then he gets a little bit on him later. But
Yeah, and that does go into me
whatever.
falling in like I wish there was more expression on the faces, because Teddy sounds with the voice over work very panicked and like freaking out, like get off kind of thing, but his face is very stoic.
Yeah. I think they try to hide that as much as possible. I don't think they succeed, but they do try.
I think it's something that dinosaurs did better, the show, because a lot of the dinosaurs with more expressive faces, like Earl Sinclair, had more of a flatter snout, so they could be more expressive with the mouth. But Theodore has a long snout, so there's only so much you can really do with the mouth. And they try playing with like the lips. That's mostly all you could really do. But you can't like make a grin with a long snout like that. Practically, that would look good anyways. Um, all right, Sprinks is out.
Well,
Writer.
what I saw, I guess, kind of with your just example of the dinosaur show, Teddy has more expression in his eyelids, like whether they're like closed or like more closed with like seriousness or wide for full eye, whereas the dinosaur show I think had more in the eyebrows, so there could be more frowns or like worry look, and Teddy doesn't really have the eyebrow part.
That's true. There was a lot more eyebrow play in dinosaurs. Okay. Writer, I guess list off whatever else you got since
Yeah,
Sprinks is out, unless you found more.
I only had like one more. So okay, the people spying on they're very cartoonish, and Edge punishing them and stuff like that. It kind of gets to the point where I'm not sure why they're on the job, because they're not really subtle. um,
Well, the Zapheads seem like subhuman, like they're a lower
yeah,
class
that's kind of what that
of
comes
something.
across as.
So they might just be forced in this kind of role. Not that they're like, this seems like a great job opportunity to work for these bad guys. Hopefully, I don't
Okay,
die doing it.
all right, I guess that works. Yeah. And my really last one is I don't buy the chemistry between Molly and Rex Theodore at all. I'm sure that
Oh no,
surprises no one.
especially by the end. The P word. All right. We'll go into Act 3, which is the Molly dance up to the ending. And I guess I will start on this one. Hooray, hooray. I think the, the I guess conclusion maybe or growth of the bullet brain thing and the P word is so bad. It's so ham-fisted, forced down your
It's
throat,
rushed.
Oh yeah,
unearned
absolutely rushed.
is probably the biggest word I'd use for it. It's so unearned. I don't feel like Katie had any progression on the gun at all. I don't know why she's like, okay, don't use a gun. Why? What changed in her as a character to decide, no, use your brain instead of a gun when she was just
Nothing,
using a gun?
literally
I don't
nothing
get it.
did. And if they did, what they could have done is just have Theodore like have the plans they used like to get into places like espionage, to talk to people, to pretend to be something else. Have them use those other skills. That would made me buy this statement more. But as it stands, it's just awful.
Yeah, because you got Theodore who's now desperate and willing to use a gun, which I can buy during for the circumstances. Katie got nothing. She had no growth for disliking guns or something. Sprinks, you have anything to add to that?
No, I'm just in agreement. There was nothing of a change other than, I don't know, maybe Coltrane getting shot, rewired her mechanical chip implant or whatever, and she's like, "Oh yeah, no violence."
Yeah, so that was horrible.
Especially since earlier she's complaining to Teddy, "Why don't you have a gun?"
Exactly. It's to set up this moment, but the problem is this moment is unearned.
Has yeah, there's
Yeah,
no
it's the
there's no
opposite.
progression between the two moments, so it's just here.
Yeah. All right, Sprinks.
Yeah, a little bit of rule of three. I didn't like the jokes kind of thing, but I did acknowledge the rule of three of the joke is when they're entering the toy maker's factory, and you have the tiptoe bit where Teddy's not tiptoeing, and Coltrane says to do that, and then it goes into a fart joke where he goes, "No, I didn't butt trumpet," and then it goes into Teddy doing like a little do 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 song, and she tells him to stop. It is too fast for one corridor to have three jokes like that, just boom, boom, boom. But it is a rule of three, but I can still see it as a negative bad thing.
Oh, my negative with it is that they rang the stupid bell. We gotta silently enter here. Ding! It
Well,
made the
maybe
whole silent entry redundant.
as soon as they entered through the, like, I guess the door and Teddy's tail knocked over something, she's like, "Oh, thanks for being quiet." Maybe that's just gave it up kind of thing.
And that's a fail of portrayal then, because I don't think that's what they were going for at all. Because she goes, "Ooh, bell," or "Oh, bell," something along
Yeah.
those lines. It's not like, well, might as well ring the bell then. Nothing like that. So I thought that made that whole hallway sequence redundant.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it was just one big bad joke.
Yeah,
I got a
go ahead, Reddy.
Oh.
okay. I got a question. Uh, did the evil billionaire genius build his rocket in the center of all of his frozen ice tubes?
Yes.
Build it? Not sure.
That's
Launched
where I
it?
launched
Oh
from.
yeah.
No, either way, launched it is the problem. I think killed half his arc when he'd launched. I'm gonna be honest with you guys.
I don't know about that, but
Well, he could have had
if it
syndrome
blew
tunnels.
up or something or had a malfunction, he would have lost everything.
No.
Opposed to
The
if it was
issue,
in a
the issue
separate
is
facility.
the issue is that the rocket blast is like over 1,000 degrees. That the cryo freezing is not gonna help with that.
I mean, it goes to where you funnel it, though, right? That's why rocket platforms now have like the hole underneath that splits it into separate quadrants, so
I
it's
would agree with that if the
divided.
rocket wasn't elevated in the chamber.
You're right. You're right.
The
It is
chamber goes
elevated.
down. That's the
Yeah, yeah, it is.
I'm no rocket scientist. I don't
No,
know.
they closed the door. That's all you got from me.
yeah. All right. Okay. Just it's probably this is a probably a flaw. But
A flaw comparing it to modern day science.
Well, in science is science. If you
okay,
don't
we've been
control where
launching
the
rockets
planes
since the
are going,
1940s, so I think
Yes,
we're
but I
good.
don't know what world this is. I don't know what these buildings are made out of. I don't know how destructible these cryopods are. I don't.
Yeah,
Would have been nice in
that's
a
too
tick
much.
scroll.
That's too much inferring. I'm not going to go that far.
Yeah.
all I have to go off is the super genius should be smart enough to know that his stuff is safe doing it this way. That's what I got. Something that didn't make sense to me, maybe you guys can sway me, is during the interrogation of the toy maker, he has the information about the hostages when he's just a hired weapons guy. Why does he know the whole
Yeah, at
plan?
what point in the process was he ever told about the hostages?
He shouldn't have.
He
Yeah,
shouldn't have, but all that really tells me is that he's still in contact after the murder of Oliver with Kane and Edge. Like he's still supplying them with things.
which is fine,
Well,
but that's irrelevant to what he supplies them with. Like unless he's getting regular information, like, oh yeah, how did
Ryder,
the
I don't know. I
job
guess
work?
they're just good buddies. They go out for
well,
coffee and have a chat.
they
I
have
don't
to
know.
be
He has too
active,
much information.
way too much. When they have to be actively telling him the entire plan, because while they're there with the toy maker, it's when they're getting Molly.
It
It's
would have been
not like
nice.
already captured.
It would have been nice if the toy maker was like a background silent character in scenes with either Kane or Edge just around.
That
So
would
then
fix
when
my
it
issue.
comes to the
Yeah, if he
reveal
was a
of
yeah
like that's the toy maker, it's like, oh, we've seen this guy.
yeah if he was in the background with scenes with Edge or Kane, absolutely, I would have zero issue with him knowing where the hostages are. That the plan is that they're going to have hostages. I have no issues at all.
Yeah, because that would make him part of the team. Here, he
Yeah,
just seems like a weapons guy that
he's
they
just out of
hired
the
to.
out of the blue.
So I would put that under. I'll put that in flaw. I think he
Yeah.
delivers important information he shouldn't have.
I agree. I'll go with flaw. Doesn't break the movie, but man, is it a bad decision. And could have made it better. Already gave like a pitch that would
Yeah,
have solved it. So,
and it doesn't require a
um,
lot of work either.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
him in the background.
it's a flaw trending towards problem for me because the entire premise of the third act revolves around them knowing where the hostages are.
well, they don't even know there's hostages. He's the
Until
one
this
who
scene, yeah.
reveals like a kid and a dinosaur, and then Teddy goes, "Oh, Sebastian and Molly." Like he pieces it together real well, but he doesn't know there's hostages.
Yeah.
Let's go with
So,
Springs Point.
yeah, the guy in the bag. Um, this movie being a dinosaur human sci-fi esque film, and I'm like, okay, going around with it, detective work and cloning and all this. when it came to the guy in the bag, this movie, I think this is where I connected like the Howard the Duck thing. I'm like, this just went a little too off the rails here. Like it seemed pretty consistent with what they were going with of the tone in this movie, and then this felt like a character from Beetlejuice.
Suddenly dropped
Even
in.
the
Yeah.
Yeah, even the music playing sounded like it was Beetlejuice.
He felt like the worm guys in Men in Black to me.
No, I think he's worse
Yeah.
than that. The worm guys are actually aliens in an
Not
alien
on.
building.
I don't mean the impact of presence, just the vibes is what I was
Yeah,
going
but
with.
is the guy in the bag? Is he a toy?
I don't know what it is. I'm going with a genetic like creation, like an original. I don't. It doesn't look like anything I know.
That makes it so weird.
Got the guy in the bag.
Yeah, is he like another thing for this? If it was theatrical to be like a toy, like like a puppet, like put your hand in the bag and you can stick the guy in the bag in and out of the thing. Like was it
I
a
don't know
marketing
what
thing or
I found nothing leaning towards this being like a larger franchise or aiming for a huge market or anything. This doesn't feel like a
Well,
toy movie to me.
I think with filming the first two scenes, they realized they couldn't get Whoopi Goldberg back as Coltrane. So,
Hmm.
which makes it interesting that the end of the movie is like, oh yeah, let's be partners.
I mean, they already had the script, so I doubt they really changed all that much when she was confirmed to be forced to do the movie.
Do you think it would have been too dark of a movie to kill her?
I mean, they have the opportunity to. Too dark? I don't think so.
Okay. Like I'm just trying to think all the
People
production
die in
stuff.
kids' movies.
It was they thought theatrical. They were having problems with Whoopi Goldberg. Just write in that when she got shot, she dies.
If they wanted to kill her off, yeah. I guess they would rather have the relationship rekindled and flourish than just kill her off.
Okay.
Another bit of inconsistency for me was when the Twillmaker saying, I'm annoyed that Rex is the one to suggest the cover story, even though they blow the cover story 10 seconds later. So it makes it feel pointless. I'm annoyed that it was his idea. I feel like it should have been the seasoned veteran that did that.
Well, we have to show he
Again,
has potential.
yeah, that goes into more the rushing the detective stuff for Teddy.
Yeah. Like I said, I understand the point of what they're trying to make him useful, but this is not how you do that. What you do is you have her do it in an earlier scene and then him try to mimic her.
And fumble, and that's when
The lesson
things go
starts.
haywire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously they just bungle it 10 seconds later, which annoyed me. Like, well, it makes that whole exchange pointless.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Maybe.
Kind of touched on it in Act 1, but the attack of the Zap heads of Katie sneaking into their compound just to stand and talk to them while Theo is getting the rope to swing and hit them, I think is so dumb, and more than that, against her character.
At this point, it's
She's
against
an
the character.
aggressive, guns ablazing character, and she does not deliver lighthearted, jokey stuff in combat.
I will say it was
scenarios.
fun to watch Whoopi Goldberg act for the first time in this film. It felt like, but that's pretty much the only joy I got out of it.
That's what I'm saying. I think it fell into hysteria.
I mean, I do think this was written in the script, but it is funny to see her in a meta sense be like, finally, this movie's over. This could have been the last scene they filmed. Who knows?
Yeah, but I mean, if going from the script, then that means she can go against her programming of aggression. Because this is an aggressive tone.
Mm-hmm.
The first fight with the Zap heads is aggressive. They're shooting each other. She's shooting out jokes. The aggression of being mean to the grinning guy, being like, oh, you're never going to get laid kind of thing. That's aggressive towards him. This isn't really aggressive. This is kind of asking for help before a consequence occurs.
Yeah, it's. I would have preferred if she was like stealthily like incapacitating guys, like knocking them out, and then get caught. But that's part of her plan, and then Theodore swings in. It's still not
You wanted
amazing
her
because
to
it's
do
not
a
very aggressive, but at least it's her being active.
like you wanted her to do a "Where's Francis" scene.
Yeah, I guess so. Say my name.
Why'd they take the time to strap a guy
Decoy.
to the hood of their car?
It turned them all away just for her to tell them to look behind them.
It's so dumb.
Well, we know they're semi-mechanical, so there's a bit of wiggle room of how durable they are.
Yeah, they got cybernetics of some sort.
Yeah, so I'll throw the movie a bone for that guy, or throw them a fossil.
Oh,
Yeah.
you jokester. Um, it is. They should have used that. They should have used that. At an hour and 4 minutes, 15 seconds, when Teddy is telling Coltrane he's going to be tough to talk to the toy maker, at that point, I didn't write down the line, but that time, I couldn't tell if Teddy's doing a Jack Nicholson impression.
I couldn't tell what. Uh, I do
Because
feel
they
like it was an
change.
impersonation.
Each sentence is differently said.
It's almost like a Christopher Walken type, but not quite.
Oh, you heard a Christopher
Close.
Walken one.
Yeah.
Oh. I only picked up a Jack Nicholson one. At least I think.
Hard to say, but I definitely feel like it is a reference to somebody.
Well, I think I'm leaning. I think there's multiple references to people because he says every line differently. It's not the same like voice the whole time talking until Coltrane tells him to knock it off.
It could be.
The Zappy
So,
helicopter sequence went on for way too long.
Yeah,
I
too.
suppose wasn't
I
that
think it
long.
was them getting enough of like, okay, we got the dinosaur rigged to a helicopter. Let's get that, and then going through the trees. I don't understand how far the Zap Head's base is to the zoo or Kane's headquarters for them to get that far before saying we have to lose weight.
Yeah, that's why I didn't have it. That's why I had an issue. Like I feel like they would have to have launched from a high place if they're going to keep losing altitude.
Yeah, like I may just be a railroader,
But you
but
need more altitude.
yeah.
Need more altitude. Okay, writer point, please.
That was a brighter point. But I'll go another
Another
one.
writer point, so I can stay
Uh,
consistent.
uh, is I Katie has what I'm only going to talk about is an Obi-Wan TV show moment, which is she's being escorted by like soldiers away from the crash site, and then she just immediately breaks free by like the simplest shit.
Oh, yes,
Oh my
that's a
gosh.
continuity error. Did either one of you catch it?
No, I don't think I did.
Okay, she's picked up by two Zap Heads
And then there's
by
three
her
in the room.
arms. Or I think there's three in the room, but two grab her. And you see her face talking to Edge, I think, and he's like, okay, get rid of her. And dragging. There's then a wide shot, and the wide shot, she's being dragged by her feet. And her head's on the ground. And then the next shot in the hallway with the three Zap Heads, she's then again standing, with them holding her arms.
If that's true, that's awful.
I'm like,
That's bad.
what happened here?
Yeah, that's pretty bad. The way she escaped was bad. Unearned, I guess I'll
Yeah,
use that as well.
it
Yeah.
was Fortress Inquisitorius from Obi-Wan show for me. It's just awful.
Do you guys prefer that her first instinct, though, is to find Sebastian being kidnapped rather than back for her partner?
Uh, Well, she hasn't used the P word yet, so I'm gonna say no.
Good point.
Um,
Okay.
she's aware of the world-ending scenario right now, right?
Uh,
I
no.
don't think so. No, because he just expounds as Teddy. The villain
Actually,
exposes
tells
it all
does
to
she ever
Teddy in the
know
next
about
scene.
it?
I don't think so.
I don't
I
think
don't
she
think
ever
she knows
learns
there's
what's
a
actually
missile.
happening.
No,
What?
she knows there's a kidnapping.
Yeah. See, the thing is,
That's kind of wild.
yeah, it is wild. I would have taken a lot of issue with, well, more issue if she knew there was an apocalyptic event potentially about to happen and she went to go save the one person that's gonna die in like 20 minutes anyways when the missile comes back down.
I mean, I suppose the toy maker didn't tell them.
No, I mean it's just kind of weird to think about that. I don't think she ever really knew the plot. Even when she gets shot, she still doesn't know what's going on.
No, I think Teddy says to her. I think Teddy starts expositing to her, but I don't know if that she's fully caught up by that point.
Well, it's because most of the conversation is, "Give me a gun. I need a gun."
Yeah, I mean before that, before she gets shot.
Hmm,
I think she does
perhaps
start
I don't
explaining, but
remember.
it doesn't finish it.
I don't remember their meet up very well at the cryo chambers, so maybe it was brought up there.
I don't like that Teddy with the cryo chamber on Molly was pushing random buttons and it unfroze her, yet his tail whacking it to break it is what opened the door.
Yeah,
Didn't
that
like
was what we
that.
call
But she's just
reading.
moving inside. And I went, oh,
That
I guess he
that's what I was
stopped
gonna
it?
say.
Yeah,
I She should have been frozen.
I think
I
that's a
think that was
continuity
just
area.
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just an
Yeah,
error.
that was really bad.
Yeah, and it's
I
awful
took it
that
as like, oh, he unfroze her randomly, which is bad then because then that makes Teddy, what's the word? Not Jane Doe, but the Gary
Oh,
Sue?
John
yeah,
Doe.
Gary.
Oh, yeah,
John
Gary
Doe?
No,
Sue.
it's Gary Stu,
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
Gary
Gary
main
Stu.
two.
Stu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just being able to do it
His
because
tail
it's,
whacking it
he's
is what
detective.
solves the problem. That's very Gary Stu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, very lucky that Doctor Physician Lady went into
Oh,
the
Dr.
cryo
Shade
chamber
took her
ahead of.
damn time.
No,
Well,
she walked
what?
into the chamber practically with instead of making Teddy go in first.
But she has the needle the whole time and
She's
she's like, okay, just relax. And then she's just letting him monologue talk. It's like, just,
she's letting a
give him the shot.
monologue, and they walk in circles because Theo was in front of the door, and while they're talking, they walk in circles to where she's now standing in front of the door for him to hit her in.
Yeah.
It's horribly executed.
I
Especially
agree.
when Teddy's like, hey, I know you're like an evil doctor and all, but can you just like be a good guy? And I'm like, okay, so you know she's evil. Why is she choosing to stall?
Well, she's
When the
also
whole
trying to
movie she
convert
keeps
him.
giving, yeah, but the whole movie she keeps giving timetables of like, missile's gonna happen in 5 hours. We gotta do this. And Kane's like, okay, we gotta freeze the elephants first. She's like, okay, it's gonna happen in this time. She's she's now at the point where the missile's already in the air and she needs to cryo herself unless she's planning to just die. I I don't
That
understand.
leads into a question I was going to ask. Are the only thing that's going to survive is the cryo chamber stuff, or do they have some like an inoculation? There we go, to where they're not affected by what happens. Because
I
No, I
Kane
no
is
no no.
like
They
driving away, and there's like 30 seconds left. And I'm like,
yes, no, they're
what's he doing?
going to a cryo thing, which is what they say to Dr. Shade when they leave the office.
Well, then why cut everything so close?
Because it's the end of a movie.
I don't think they know what a minute is.
No. They've already launched the missile and yet they're still just talking.
They launched the missile and
Like
it
Kane
says
is just talking to Teddy. It's like, oh, this is my arc and
com-
everything. What are you
the
doing?
computer voice says T minus 100 minutes or 100 seconds or something like that. And so I don't think they know what a minute is.
No. Also,
I mean,
was the missile supposed to hit the sun to make the ice age?
well, it was probably going to detonate in the atmosphere, so you get the maximum spread, kind of like if you want to shoot a nuke for maximum damage, you wouldn't shoot it in the ground; it would blow up in the air. Type deal. I'm going to imagine that's what was going to happen, but
But
it
that was
didn't
just
make it into the
it was just
atmosphere.
supposed to explode in space.
No, it would have gone lower, but Theodore blew it up before it got to its destination.
Oh, okay. I thought they said a line that it's supposed to shoot the sun to trigger the ice age.
As- if it did, I missed that, and I
If
think that's
that's
Yeah.
true, I
stupid.
have
I
I have more problems with this genius
okay.
thing.
I'm like I thought that was a line that Kane said in his like monologue going on about like what his plan is. Because then when it's counting down the missile and Teddy just saves it, and we see the missile go off above Earth, it's nowhere near the sun. And I'm like, well, that's a
Wow,
problem. That
that's
makes
a
no sense.
that's a massive detail. If I missed that, because that makes the plan even worse than it already was.
I thought that's what he
Well,
said.
did he want to shoot it at the sun or block out the sun? Because then I could see like the
It's
atmosphere, kind of
easier
like
to
what happened
block
to
out the
dinosaurs.
sun. It's easier to block out the sun than it is to shoot the sun.
Yeah.
And that could be true. I could have misheard a line. But
So
sun was
uh,
somewhere said. I really feel like that was a thing.
I'm darn. I got a Sprinks here where I saw the movie differently. If that's a line in there, because that's pretty big.
Yeah,
If I
sun
missed
was
that.
in there, but if it was block the sun or shoot the sun, I thought I heard the missile was to hit the sun to trigger the ice age. But
Oh. Then I guess for my rating, I have to say it now. I'm rating it as if the sun has nothing to do with the plan because I
okay,
didn't get that.
because I wrote in my notes, I'm like, oh, well that doesn't line up. So
Yeah.
This
And
I don't know.
on the you got it up.
no, I was gonna say I have
Oh,
a point, but if you finish your stuff,
yeah. I was going to continue with the timing thing because when Edge blows up, hitting the billboard, um, there was 15 seconds left. They were nowhere near a cryo chamber.
Absolutely not.
they were not gonna make it.
No. So pretty bonkers, pretty
Then again,
dumb,
unless
pretty
the
bad.
world freezes over instantly, uh, which it might not do, they would still have time. But I don't know how the fucking missile works. So
Yeah, I don't know if it just puts out a virus and just kills everything that's alive, or blocks out the sun, or whatever it does. I don't know what it does. Uh, all right,
Okay, the
Ryder, go ahead and
line. Sorry, I just checked the line. It is I will block out the sun and create a new Eden.
block out sun. Okay, so then I think it's okay. I think Theodore blew it up before it hit the atmosphere, so it just blew up in space. So I think it's okay. But I did not hear that line. So, oof.
Okay.
all right.
Rudder.
Yeah. My point is just that we had a very very like. I'm glad you asked because I wanted to take this time to explain my evil plan monologue scene because
Oh yeah,
the Kane just once the question is asked, he just goes. He explains everything. And he
Yeah,
also rambles
every
too
minute
because he's
detail.
insane or whatever. But it's
which
you know
goes more into a bad text scroll.
yeah. Didn't need the text crawl because for this if we're getting the full thing.
Yeah, so that's a pretty bad monologue, even.
Oh yeah, it's not a great monologue.
Yep. Since we've been touching on a bunch of bad things, I'll give one little nugget of decency. It's not great, but a little bit. The interrogation scene with the toy maker, the transitions of each form of interrogation is using a different transitional edit. So the first one's from, I think, the bottom up slide, and then there's left to right slide, and then a right to left slide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's give a variety.
I'll also give a quick compliment. I like that Katie is able to shoot Kane in the arm at least once before she can't shoot anymore.
I'm
Yeah.
not a fan that she's like, "Oh, I'm shut down now." I'm like, "Okay, can you shut up?" You're
Yeah, I don't
partially shut down then.
exactly.
I don't get it.
I'm like, well, she's like, I can't function. I'm offline. I'm like, how are you talking?
Yeah. I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't believe you. You're talking. I can see your lips moving.
And
If
then
she's like,
she slides her
"It hit
body
my
down the
motor
wall.
function." Yeah, then she does do that. If she's like, "Oh, it affects my motor functions. I can't move my body." I'm like, "Okay, I guess that's better." But saying offline means you should not be on. Unless every part of her is mechanical except her head, which I guess is possible, but they don't get into that stuff.
I don't know. All I can think, anytime there's cybernetics, and I think this is how I grew up. Anytime I hear like a cyborg incense, I always think of Cyborg from Teen Titans in
Yeah,
DC.
no, I'm the same. Yeah.
And when he goes
Oh
through like
yeah.
an EMP blast or all his mechanical stuff goes offline, he goes to sleep. He can't function without the rest of that.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the cybernetic creature, person, what have you. And we don't get anything really on her other than she is
Yeah.
cybernetic.
They didn't expand on it, so I have nothing to base it on.
Mr. Summers is a moron. We kind of touched on it earlier, but in this act, this is when he gets frozen. Why is he just now discussing what his place in things? He's like, so, am I getting frozen now? I'm like,
Crimson.
what?
Him, Summoner's going up to express to Dr. Shade, the bad guy of all this, and two henchmen come up. It just reminded me so much of 2013 Tomb Raider with Whitman.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, don't worry, I'll take care of it. I'm just gonna have a normal talk, and then gets like killed by the
Freaking
clear
butchered.
bad guy. Yeah, just reminded me of 2013 Tomb Raider with Whitman, when it's like clearly the bad guys, but it's like, okay, I'll take care of it, and then just gets butchered.
Butchered, destroyed. No, that's a good comparison because that is really what Summers is. He walked into the den thinking he was fine for some reason.
Yeah, he's on their side.
Yeah, where did your leverage go, dude? You the levers that they needed.
I I also don't know why they didn't freeze him.
Well, they did
Oh,
freeze him,
well, cryo
but
freeze him.
Well, yeah,
terrible makeup
they're
too.
evil. Can't you tell?
Yeah,
It's
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
about as
they
on the
just
nose.
kill Spinner,
They're
the
just
guy who's
reminding.
been working with them.
It's just the script
well,
reminding you that
Spinner
they're.
kept screwing up.
Yeah, it's just a
That's
reminder
true.
that they're evil in the same way that like in the first scene that's not an action sequence with Katie Coltrane is finding a stray dog that she wants to keep.
Yeah, I think that was
Mhm.
just to aid to her softer side with Sebastian. That was it.
I agree.
Like, oh, she's got a connection, and she's not, this hard, tough cop. It's like, okay, which I can tell people might be arguing. It's like, well, you said her aggression levels and all that, and that's not aggressive at all. No, but it's looking out for life.
I don't know. It's hard. They didn't quantify the power of the chip,
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
it's a little tough.
Is it a hard
Um,
line? Is it a slight influence? Go
I
ahead,
don't know.
Springs.
I was gonna ask. The toy maker informs them to go to the Zap Heads because that's the connection to Kane. What did they expect to happen when they went to find them?
Them being the Zap heads or them being the big boss?
Them being Coltrane and Teddy,
Um,
because they did not get a line from Toymaker that they have a helicopter or a means to fly.
no. I don't know what their plan is. I mean, they could have just gotten the information from them and then drove.
I guess it just seems like another breadcrumb when they already have their answer, kind of thing.
I suppose. And the
Like they know
helicopter's kind of
Kane's the
just a
bad
random
guy.
thing.
Yeah, they know Kane's the bad guy and has the hostages. Why go to the Zap Heads just because the Toymaker says like the Zap Heads might have more info?
I suppose or he thought the Zapheads would be able to take care of them, so that was like,
Oh,
go to
like we're in
them.
a
They'll
trap?
be
My
helpful.
my
Yeah.
only guess is that the Toymaker has no idea Kane is involved, and he just knows the Zap Heads are the ones that had the hostages, not
That
that they were
is,
delivered.
I
I don't think that's the case.
I don't
don't
think that's
know.
the case either.
I lean no. Yeah.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm also on no. I'm just throwing stuff into the discussion.
Okay. At an hour 14 after they crash the helicopter into the office, and right before Coltrane gets picked up and hoisted up before it's sent off, is her footage sped up of her crawling to her gun?
It could have, because I feel like earlier when Summers got sped up when he was walking away after manipulating the commissioner. I feel like that got like a .1 speed increase. It didn't look right. So I don't think it would be against them to do that. I don't remember it happening in this scene though. I'd have to relook.
Okay. I just think it got sped up a little.
I don't remember it happening, but it wouldn't surprise me.
How are Act 3 notes looking?
I got
I
like
might have like one or two more.
I've got also potentially just one or two more.
All right, let's go with the writer.
I would like to thank Kane for just handing the remote to Rex, like in the most obvious way, because the dinosaur hands couldn't reach into his pockets. He's like, "No, please,
I
Teddy,"
suppose
as
so.
he's pulling it out to hand it to him, because he
Yeah.
basically just hands it to him.
Well, he doesn't want to die, except he totally would have.
Missile goes off in negative 10 seconds now. So,
We're long past
Yeah.
100 seconds from when the computer started. We're
Yeah.
in the negative, like we're at least the negative full minute now.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, since it's confirmed it's to block out the sun, the effects would be a long-term thing, which is, I guess, why they are in cryo chambers. So they wouldn't have died when it went off. It would have taken years actually for all of the life
They're
to
going to a
die.
special suite of cryo chambers.
yeah, it's not an
Yeah.
instant ice age.
So I guess I have less of an issue of their urgency to get to their pods.
Yeah, but they're
It's
still
not an
acting like
immediate
it's an
thing.
urgency.
Oh yeah, but they're also getting chased down by our heroes.
Hero. One's been reduced to not being able to move.
That's right. You're right.
Also, Edge could have just grabbed a steering wheel, but he didn't. He just screamed.
No. Yeah, he just let himself get hit into a
He just
billboard
accepted
with
it.
plastic explosives on the other side.
It was a pretty massive explosion.
How's it? It's
He-
crazy that when they went to the museum and it hit the sign outside the Natural History Museum, their truck didn't explode into flames.
It's an inconsistency, isn't it?
I should have gone back. What's the sign even say? I didn't even look at it.
It literally says Museum of National History, I think.
No, I mean the
No,
explosion
the one that Edge crashes into.
Yeah,
Oh.
I didn't really look or pause the screen or anything.
I also didn't look at it at all.
Something to do later, I suppose.
I will try to find it.
I guess the very end where he's now a detective.
Yay, good for
Detective
him.
first
He's made it.
class.
Oh my god.
Yeah, not. Oh,
The sign says the future is now.
All right. The future is now. Perfect. He's a detective now. He's the first like dinosaur detective, so they're gonna have to like dinosaurify the office now. Get him a dino chair,
he's
dino
the
desk.
Officer Judy Hopps of this world, okay?
I suppose so.
I guess, but rather than Judy Hopps does stand out as just being small. I mean, that's her big joke. Is like, oh, you're short, and everyone's like huge. So I guess that is one
Yeah,
standout
she's supposed to be
difference.
the first bunny on the force, right? That was the plot of that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, but in
Okay.
a world of animals.
Yeah.
This is like everything in this world is designed for humans, and now you have to make all this stuff for one dinosaur. They didn't really make stuff for a bunny. I don't think it's Zootopia.
Well, they made her like a little desk, right? She's got a custom desk, right?
Maybe, but I just feel like in Zootopia world, there's stuff for every animal species there is
Oh,
to
there
like
is.
function on your
Yeah.
size. So
And there's other animals that are small that aren't just bunnies. There had to have been other small
well, there's
critters
the
on the
Godfather
forest.
mice, right? He's got like his
Yeah,
tiny
but
little desk and chair, and
talking about the police though.
oh,
But yeah, you got the Mouseville, the mole mobster. You got smaller critters than her. But on the forest, there has to have been something similar to the size of a bunny at some point.
maybe everyone's like a lion or a bull or like these
Yeah.
bison, these big animals.
All right, Sprinks, you got a point.
Seeing what we have left that haven't been already touched on. We've touched about. Actually, I think we've touched on everything else I have. Oh well, Spinner dying. I felt nothing.
Oh yeah, felt
Absolutely not.
nothing.
He's just obliterated. And Doctor Shade doesn't know how to hold a gun.
I can't even picture how she held it. What'd she do wrong?
She held it with both hands very close, tighted to her chest.
The only benefit is
Oh,
that
Like
it's not a
arm,
normal
like
gun.
yeah,
so
it
might
doesn't
not
even
have the
fire
recoil.
anything. It just makes a noise, and then the person's disintegrated.
My disintegration
So
ray.
mm, the ending where it says "see ya," so
That was my
weird.
last note.
I don't think it fits this movie. Even though this is kind of a zany movie, it's weird. I don't think that's placed
Yeah.
right.
My last
Yeah.
note is Sia question mark. Yeah, maybe not.
See you on the podcast.
Yeah. See you on the podcast. Exactly.
All right. Well, if that was the last one, Sprinks had writer. You got more.
Yep. I got my last one.
All right. I can't help but notice, but Act 3 was almost entirely negatives.
Yeah. I wonder
Yeah,
why.
Wow.
they rushed through it all. They put so much. They gave a whole practically useless scene for a hockey game, and that all that time could have been used for the ending.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, then I guess I'm tapped out. So we will jump into our summaries and ratings, where we will start with writer.
Oh boy. All right. Subjective first, as usual. I had smiled once over the course of this entire film, and I like Whoopi Goldberg, and I like the concepts that are being played with here. And all that amounts to I am never going to watch this movie again. It was hard to get through it the first time. I'm not going to try for a second time. I'm at an easy 2.5. Objectively, um, I'm going to start with characters. I don't think there's the only character that's consistent is Kane. Um, and I have a lot of issues with this character thrown into him by the plot and the world building. And that's not a lot to go on. Maybe uh, I would say the same for a lot of the villains. I think the villains are mostly okay. They're not the worst thing in the world, but they're pretty bad to okay. I would say Kane and the physician are probably the most okay of the villains. Um, the plot is, I would say, suffers from plot armor. I would say it suffers from comedic timing. I would say it suffers from uh, the comedic timing really gets into the pacing of the plot. Um, and so I wouldn't say it's very good. Um, I think there's, again, some interesting ideas at hand that I don't really play with, and that ties into the world building. World building has interesting ideas they don't play with. I think they're inconsistent with it, or they don't justify it. Um, I don't really have much in the way of praise for this movie objectively. I'm been bouncing between a 2 and a 3. I'm actually gonna settle on a 2 for the time being. I'm still thinking on it, but I'm at a 2 right now.
Alrighty, let's go Sprinks next.
Oh boy. Uh, what do I start with? Let's start with my subjective. Kind of like Writer. I don't think I'll see this movie again. But this is a movie I would recommend to people who like this kind of like campy, feel zany movie. If you're a fan of Howard the Duck, if you're a fan of the Power Rangers movie, if you're a fan of what else has that feel of it that I've
Kamen
seen?
Rider?
I guess Kamen Rider. I mean that goes with Power Rangers. So yeah, that kind of feel of a movie where it just goes. It tries to start with a structure, and then by the end of it, just goes off the rails, crazy in its story. You'd probably appreciate this movie. For me, I think it's just timing and rushed and too crazy. The guy in the bag was what I think broke me. I'm like, okay, this is not this movie. I can't say it's good. I think because of that guy. Um, I am matching Writer. I'm at a 2.5. I don't hate the movie, but I can see it's clearly a bad movie. And theatrical would not have helped this at all. What would have helped it is the stuff we've talked about, which then I will go into my objective. Um, that text scroll is pointless. If a kid can't understand what's going on when they clearly tell you in scenes throughout the movie what's going on, to then give a text at the beginning which has narration to tell the kids who can't read what's going on in the movie, doesn't really scream that you have a good movie. Now, does it? So the whole text scroll, either I think it would strengthen the movie to rewrite it for the past events before this movie to explain why dinosaurs are around with humans. They do have some of that explanation throughout the movie, but I think that would have definitely strengthened it to keep a text scroll. Oh boy. The costume look of the dinosaurs, I think, is good for its time of 95. That was the one question I asked Crimson before we started this because I didn't want to look up anything and cheat myself by finding something else, either ratings from other people or accidental facts or something. So I just wanted to ask, when was this movie made, so I can credit it to the time of the film. So it was made in 95. So of 95, I think the dinosaurs look good, have a lot of, the facial expressions are good, the hand movements, the walking, the environment, all that I think is actually pretty cool. The characters themselves, very stereotypically bland to what they are. No one really stands out as different or a growth. I don't really see character growth in this movie at all. I guess Teddy's the only one from being this guy who wants to be a detective, and then boom, you are a detective in the third act. But that is not a nice gradual line. That is a bar graph where the bar goes from a 1 to a 9 kind of thing. So not the greatest. I think the writing is very clanky and very bumpy. It's not so much where I see like this is written for the joke and this is written for the story. I see it more like we wrote both, but we couldn't find transitional pieces to flow the conversations. So they're just gonna be like one sentence that's more comical than the other, but it'll still connect to the conversation at hand. And that's bumpy writing or just bad writing, I see, because there's no flow to it and it doesn't feel natural. Lighting overall is okay. I see what they're doing to make scenes dark to hide details. like why the club's so dark, or when the Zap heads demolish the car and take all the pieces, and you can't really see Teddy's face. I think that's to aid into making it come across better. Other than that, lighting I think is fine. The camera work is there's just a lot of fine camera work. I couldn't tell you what my favorite shot in this movie is. Probably the explosion, or one of the 3 explosions, probably the best shot. But there's just some bad camera work. Crimson touched on it. I touched on it. Ryder touched on it. To me, the worst thing overall throughout this whole movie is just Teddy's ADR work of not feeling like it's in the movie. It's like someone next to you like Teddy's not speaking, but someone next to you is playing an audio tape or right, what are they called? The dubs that people do of animes.
Oh yeah, it's just called like audio recordings. So
Yes, but not the official ones. Like the
oh,
funny ones that people make.
abridged.
Abridged. It feels like Teddy's voice in this movie is abridged. That's how I got that, and that really makes the movie very weird in tone. So overall, of course, I'm missing a detail. I can't remember which one it could be, but overall, I guess editing. Editing kind of stinks in parts, but there's definitely more bad to this movie than good. But I can see the good in what they went with, especially with the budget they had on hand. I am putting it at a 3.5. I can see ideas that I guess I could push it to a 4, and ideas that I could push it to a 3. Because there is some gray area stuff we've discussed that isn't really set in stone. So a 3.5 is where I'll comfortably put it for objective.
Alrighty. We'll jump to my scores. We'll go with my subjective first, as I tend to do. The one Sprinks was curious about. I guess before I deliver it, Sprinks, what did you think it was going to be? I guess before the podcast and after the podcast. I don't know if it's changed.
I don't want to change my score. I think whatever it is, it's going to be above a 4.
Okay. Well, I guess Ryder, I can lump you in. What do you think mine is?
I had no opinion on it, so I don't really look for Crimson movies, but I'll hedge a guess that it's. Oh, I'm gonna say you're right at a 4.
All right. You are correct. It's a 4. I like the visuals. I think the dinosaur puppets look great. I like the way the world looks. I like the concept of the world of like the cybernetic, like zap heads, human dinosaur integration, seeing like the dinosaur car, the dinosaur shoes. It's kind of a fun world. What isn't fun is the movie, though. The reason it's not lower is that gets into dislike territory, and I don't dislike the movie. It's just not fun. Uh, the comedy doesn't hit. As I said, I didn't really find anything funny. The bad guy being biggest amusing part, and it's not very amusing. And I don't find any characters that interesting or good. Probably Edge and Shade or Shadow, whatever, Doctor Lady. And that's because I have history with those two as actors, and it was kind of fun seeing them in this. That's the bulk of it. You know what? Did I talk myself to a 3.5 just now? I did. It's a 3.5. Objectively, I think there's way more bad than good in this. It'd be easier just to list the good. So that's probably what I'll end up doing. Costumes, great. The world concept, great. World building, not amazing. We've poked out a lot of holes in the world building about dinosaur integration, changes that have to be changed with the dinosaurs existing in the first place, changing to omnivore, bipedal, changing their size, all this stuff. Meanwhile, all the other extinct animals are just their normal selves. They've not been changed or modified like the dinosaurs have. And I think all the characters are pretty bland, and any progression that the characters have are very artificial and unearned, being the partner line. with Katie and the brain bullets line, because that was a fake conflict that was not real. They didn't build that up through the movie. Like I said, it's going to do positives and spewed into the negative stuff.
Not many
So
positives, so
hard.
it's fine.
There really isn't. The opening text scroll, horrible. Not going to dive more into that, but I do think the black and white segment of Oliver dying is probably the best part of the movie. Because seeing that first time, like, this movie might be pretty good. The cover might be deceiving. It wasn't very good.
What a false hope.
It
really was.
It was a really strong start outside the text crawl. I thought the text crawl was weak from the get-go. It just became weaker as the thing went on. But that was a very strong opening scene.
Yeah, not knowing
Yeah.
anything, I thought the text crawl was a weird start. I'm like, oh, fascinating. But nope.
There was bad camera stuff. There was good camera. I mean, I like that it was not stationary. There was a lot of good camera movement. It's an active camera, but some of them just were misplaced. Some of the editing was bad. Sprinks brought up a couple that we covered. I think the lighting was fine to good. Good being the beginning part with the black and white. I think that was lit pretty well. Yeah, with all that, unfortunately, since I changed it, it is now matching my subjective. It's at 3.5 as well.
I wouldn't call that unfortunate. I'd say that
Well,
you're.
I don't like matching my scores.
Oh, well, that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, I
Fair
don't think
enough.
it's a bad thing to call this movie objectively bad.
No, yeah, that's not the angle I was going with. I definitely think this is objectively a bad movie.
All
I
right,
could see
well,
it being a cult film, though. I could see people
I can see that too.
liking it.
yeah, I could definitely see this as a cult film. Just, cult films surround bad movies too. That's totally fine.
We're just people who have watched it for the first time in 2025. So
Bringing a
And
lot
it
of
is
weight.
unfortunate because I do like dinosaurs, the show. So I was hoping a bit of that would carry over past just the costumes, but did not.
no. Wow, this movie's 30 years old.
That is kind of crazy. It's just thinking the 90s is that old is already weird now.
A little.
A little. All right, boys. Shall I read us out, or any other final thoughts?
I'm ready.
Boy, with from the first episode this season, and then last week's, and this one, who knows what next week's gonna be?
So true.
Something fun, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Ratings are gonna be interesting.
Yes, it will be. All right. Thank you, audience, for listening, whether it be Spotify, Amazon, Castbox, Good Pods, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, and Samsung. And if you've had to be in our visual side of things, be it YouTube or Rumble, thank you for watching our PNG Duper slideshow there. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe everywhere. Tell us how much you hate our opinions or how much you love them. And as always, I've been a Geeky Writer.
I'm Christopher Maroon.
And I'm Sprinks.
And we will catch you next time. Later, everybody.
See ya.
Toodaloo.